What's up, everybody? I'm here back in a series, give or take. I don't know how long this is, so if this is actually relatively short, it might be, but I don't know. It was free. And I think it was made by the same people who made that Chasing series way back when. Well, not too, probably like a few months ago. It actually does have English. Actually, for some reason,
猫でもないのに
it was on Japanese
そ
when
ん
I
な状
started.
態でね
You were lying around idly, and you're not even a cat.
Nah,
See?
it was on Japanese, but I gotta set English. I also know there was a DLC I can get, which changes the voice actor to a different voice actor. You have to pay for it. It's like $8, I think, which is really weird. Not because like the price isn't really weird. It's just weird that you get to pretty much pay for a voice actor. Anyway, I don't know too much of this, but it was on my list for like the longest time. And then suddenly this one day, like at the time of this video, which I don't know when I'm gonna upload, but I think it's Monday. I think, like I said, I think. It came out like on Friday, the 17th, I think it was. So I decided to go ahead and record this now. Like I said, I don't know how long it is. I have zero idea. But we're gonna go and start. And it's got English voice acting. I don't know how much of it does, but the sound was driving him crazy. Mind George's mother does were resonating throughout his head with dark pain. The pain wasn't too strong, not unbearable, but that sound. More than anything else, he wanted the sound to stop. Dud. Nevertheless, the knocking sounds just didn't end. He knew well enough, because he himself was the origin. Dud, dud, dud. The nose of his slipper was hitting the wheel of his desk over and over again, like a huge fluffy mole frantically whimming against the window glass. He wanted plenty of things. He wanted to pay the went time with this muff, not to displace the landlady again. He wanted to finish the script, at least in draft, because a draft is way better than nothing, something one could work with. And he wanted to sleep. No, not quite yet. The problem, a serious one, was that he didn't really want to sleep. He leaned back in his chair and wiped his shut eyes, pressing his eyeballs until dense impaired lights appeared. Of course, he took the sleeping pills. When a heavy 8-hour sleep gives way to not so heavy 5-hour nap, then a 3-hour eyes shut break, and then goes away entirely, you stop thinking how this will impact your liver. You just want to sleep. You need to sleep, especially if you have already taken an advance payment for the first part of the gig, and the goddamn text won't write itself. However, if the text could in fact write itself somehow, it would probably lose its job. He didn't have any illusions in this regard. As soon as neutral eyeworks gets small enough, he and dozens of other ghostwriters will vanish into more than mist of a new era in literature. He didn't have much of a name or connections, only some skill and a knack to meet the deadlines for the most part. The client was content with this, and he was content with the pay, so everything went well until the pay started failing him. Blam! This time the tick got too strong. His foot jerked and hit the board with very noticeable pain. Seemed like he even heard his toes crack. He muttered a short curse and whirled the chair away from the desk. Although he knew not that his attention was not fixed on the blank text fire, the tick should go away all by itself. It's funny how there's consciousness is detached from the body. He often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you're suddenly left alone with it, and your partner's more interested in watching the fight than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. A small window at the far side of the room flashed white for a moment. A storm? Not that he thought about it, the day was hot. The vicious, stagnant air still filled the room. This and the barely audible squeak of an overheated network filter. He became sensitive to such scenes when he couldn't sleep for a long time. Made the entire room seem to vibrate a little, like a cocoon that's about to hatch. Actually, that did sound like a good line. He rolled back to the tape and was about to write that down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words in the general idea, but the synthesizer always slipped away. This time, the white light seemed to fill the entire room. Then, a thunder followed, resembling a low gut war or something large and famished. Good lord. He caught the guard way too often for someone who never goes to church. Just a habit that he inherited from his mother. A forcer's patter of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way he could work like this. Not now. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. Had to seize the moment. He grouped for a pack of sleeping pills. It's nice to have your working toes hand. Popped the pills in his mouth and opened the window to hear the steady patter of the rain. They went to the bed and collapsed on top of the bed sheets, his clothes still on. He could tell by the sound of water that had flooded the windowsill and was trickling down the floor. He decided that was a small price to pay. He felt a pleasant chill clot beneath his cheek. The waving haze was gradually filling into the room. Yet, the sleep did not come. He tried to take off his shoes. Just persistence. Take a pillow, cover himself. Throw the pillow away at the other side of the room. Nothing helped. He just lay there with his eyes closed and his closed eyelids were heavy. He knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. At first he thought he was imagining. Sometimes the knock can pass, but it never stopped completely. The sound came from below, from the first floor. Someone was banging inconsistently on the door. And with each thud, he could feel the weight building up like a tight knot of pain around his stomach. He is trying to sleep. Is it really that hard to just leave him in alone? At least at nights. At least in the house that pays for it. Or that he pays for specifically, so that nobody will bother him. He opened his eyes. Easy, just as he thought, sprung to his feet and went down the stairs. Something was born inside him. Halfway to the door, he turned to a cupboard and pulled out an old baseball bat. He wasn't likely to actually use it. He asked if he would, so he whispered the door no. No, he's certainly warned, but he's angry and he wants the night guests to learn it. What the hell? The wind was still pouring, or rather, it was actually getting stronger. As his mother would say, in the floodgates of heaven to open. His mother used to say a lot of things. That that was the list of reasons why he had to rent his old by house or anyone could start breaking out the door in the middle of the night. What the hell? He said again, this time aloud. A cat was standing on his porch. Oh, it's actually a catgirl? I actually wasn't expecting that, but I like catgirls a lot, so this is kind of funny that I did this practically after Nico Power. She looked like a purebred British short hair in all respects except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray hair, it seemed as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, while her lower part was dipped into a black one. Wet fuel clung to her small, white skinny body dripping with water. The cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened, but instead she froze as if waiting for her to say something. I was hoping they won't make a choice like this, but she's a stranger, but she's been knocking for long. It is raining. This might get me killed, but it was a cold outside, much colder than one One might think. He didn't feel angry anymore. Alright, come in. He stepped aside, freeing the doorway. The cat didn't move. So you don't want to? Huh? He was about to say, fine then, and close the door, go back to the second floor and lie in a suffocating half sleep until morning. But he finally realized what was wrong. The bat. He threw it away, aiming for the sofa but missed. The bat clattered on the floorboards. The cat followed it into the darkness with round yellow eyes. The sound seemed final. He signed, I won't hurt you. Come in if you want. The cat raised her eyes at him. For the first time, he actually saw and couldn't help admiring how big yellow they were. The cat's pupils were also large and crumbling rounds, like two full moons in an eclipse. Just as he was about to close the door for the second time, the cat murmured something and fluttered into the house, butting him with her wet hair as he passed by. He smiled. Strictly speaking, at this very moment, his line had ended. If the lady found out, and he was sure she would, he'll have to look for a new place to live. There were plenty of lonely, bored seniors in the neighborhood, he thought, and they only have two hobbies of showing a report. Subject and the recipient aren't that important. Well, it's fine. Maybe he'll leave the suburbs. Maybe he'll move to an apartment since him getting privacy didn't work out anyway. The rain was getting stronger still. He closed the door. The cat explored the house with cautious curiosity, stopping by different objects as trying to understand their purpose. Watching that was amusing, so amusing he even forgot about the stain. When he remembered, it had always spread out, a dark spot of water in the place where the cat clung to him. He pulled the wet cloth away from his body and stared at it blankly for a moment, then almost groaned aloud. The cat was soaked, so she probably got a lot of dirt in the house. He decided not to tell her the lie. He had enough disappointment for the night. Instead, he went to get a towel. Alright, come here. The cat turned her head to the voiceover place. She was examining the TV, a lifeless black mirror with plasma panel, and a lacquer frame that he haven't even touched since moving in. In the reflection, the cat herself looked black. She gave him a long, appraising look and then, with sudden eagerness, tried to torture him, deftly avoiding obstacles. He was surprised. Maybe the cat decided he was more interested than the TV, or maybe she acted out of respect for her host real. Anyway, he felt grateful. Finally, someone he could finally actually negotiate with. Suddenly, he thought how nice it would be to crawl under a blanket with a warm bar full. It would surely have helped him to fall asleep. As a child, he had a cat, gray, huge, brash, immediately ugly, and equally beloved. He ought to feel asleep hugging him. The cat's name was Timo, and he faded into a June night many years ago. The cat bumped her head against him once more. He thought the cat usually shake off the water themselves. Usually, but perhaps not always. Hey, easy there, you're all wet. The cat looked up at him and with her moon-shaped eyes and murmured something again. Do something about it then. He sprang got to work. He had to squeeze the front door so the towel soon turned into a wet rag. Should be. That won't do. I'll give you a bath. I didn't really think much on that. I just put that, but I can see it's dirty. I wonder how these choices are going to play out, because I got a bad feeling that me letting in a stranger cat and now bathing her, it's not going to end well for me. I don't know why. It probably won't, but I can easily skip to what I need to. As he carried her to the bedroom, the cat stayed still in his arms, a warm and incredibly light body pressing against his chest. He was expecting the cat to bring out claws at any moment. Maybe as he opens the door. Now? Or as he turns the light on? Maybe this time? But nothing happened. The cat glanced around the new room and looked at him again with a attention almost human-like gaze. Not a single muscle in her small body moved. She was curious, and that's about it. She trusts me. He was about to ask her if she knows already warned what was going to happen next, but that was just too much. So, it shouldn't be very difficult. The two of us can miss this. What do you think? He read some cats should get used to the new surroundings before bathing. Fear was born out of the unknown, and in that regard, people haven't gone too far from cats. New scenes, familiar objects, and splash of water. These are just shadows on the bed that will fall back if you get a better look at them. He carefully put the cat on the floor. She looked around the room again and returned her questioning eyes to him. It seemed like she got comfortable enough. He turned on the water and the shower felt a gentle touch. The cat was already loading around his feet. She was curious indeed. The shower isn't so bad compared to the rain, is it? The joke came out really awkward. He felt embarrassed and he didn't know why. Good thing he blew it out. I thought I was going to blow it out. She's just a cat. Maybe it was because of how the water glistened on her skin or how she was looking at him from under half lowered lashes. She was actually watching. He met her gaze and each time felt shame burn through him, but that shame was thick and sweet. He was a little dizzy. His hands slid over her smooth wet skin and each time he would ask himself, was it really necessary? He would feel her eyes on him and his thoughts were melt, whether or not her thighs with the ladder disappearing between her neat toes. And back from shimmered molten, bright pulsating with light or darkness. He felt he was losing his balance and pulled his hand away, but she returned and pressed into the wet, hot skin covered in a soapy veil. She guided it. He could remember how he ended up in the living room again. The cat was snapping peacefully in his arms. He absently ran his hand down the cat's wet back, tracing the bumps of her spine with his fingers. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up, with just a tad bit difficulty, none he could handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy and oily. He had to give the cat something to eat. He would lie down afterwards, and then, heck, maybe he'll even fall asleep. Maybe he shouldn't have gotten a cat from a chiller. Maybe he should have gotten a cat from a chiller. A bar full with a pair of mood eyes and very voice that he could always negotiate with. That's about it. That's kind of funny. He could have avoided all this suffering if only he had a cat. The kitchen blurred before his eyes. He got to the refrigerator and opened it, squinting from the lights and leaned on the door way harder than he was supposed to. If the landlady was around at the time, she would have told him exactly so. Don't lean on the door. After all, this is your house and a refrigerator. Everything should be neat and tidy in case she has to move new tenants again. Perhaps the landlady would have even warned him about the milk. The milk itself is completely harmless, unless of course you are allergic to lactose, but there's a special kind of lactose-free milk, right? Not match the bottom. Bottled as much like cats can vary greatly, but this particular one was made of glass. If the landlady was here, she would probably have told him not to touch a bottle because he's fallen on the floor and the bottle might break, and then the milk will spill. You have that to feed the cat well no matter it was who found him. Every time, because he was lying on the floor. He had been lying there for some time. He would have been lying still if he hadn't felt the light touch of something hot warm on his cheek. I thought it was kind of exaggerated that he actually was on the ground. It was almost like a dream, almost of course, comparing sleep with faints isn't correct, no matter how you look at it. The floor beneath him was surprisingly hard, cold, wet. He felt all those three qualities clearly and was afraid to imagine what would happen if he tried to move. But he had to move, one way or another. At least to see what's up, because something hot and rough was still sliding up his cheek, gradually creeping up on his heel. Feel a warm breath and then a cautious bite. He jumped on the spot. A shadow washed it aside and then calmly began to lap milk from the puddle. Okay, now you can see a far more um big picture. But how feet though? Are those like actual like what's it called? Like paws pretty much. Um, they actually like paws and everything, or are those like stockings? What are you doing? The cat looked at him briefly and licked her lips.
No need to be this dramatic. You are lying around idly, and you're not even a cat, see? Besides, you're soaked in milk.
Oh, you're right. Honestly, for a minute, I know there's English voice acting, but honestly, for a minute, I was really thinking that maybe she didn't have good English at all because she definitely seemed like a stray cat more than anything. I know she murmured something, but you never heard her say nothing, so I kind of assumed maybe she had slight broken English and she, you know, just couldn't speak it that well. I let you down and had to get my punishment. I let myself down too. Good lord, now there's cleaning to do too. The next advent, like his mother would have said. I'll go get it back. Stay here and don't want what's left in the kitchen while I'm gone. The cat watched him go with a skeptical look.
Aren't you the one who's been causing all the trouble so far?
When he returned with the bucket, the cat was gone. Okay. How'd you bake? In the kitchen, something exciting is happening. What? I almost thought they was doing like a fucking like a credits and they was gonna be like, oh yeah, I picked that choice and it changes the game a little bit. No, this is just weird. Take. You would need a blade. Did you take the pills? Scratch out the intros? The Egyptians widely used honey for embalming and preserving food. Later, these recipes were adopted by the Greeks. Also add a teaspoon of apricot jam, a walnut, and a little cinnamon. Before baking, pour a teaspoon of butter on top of a microwave for 5 to 7 minutes at full power. Don't listen to him scream. There's blood. Bon appetit. I know he's got some issues, like I know he said he got insomnia, so he can't really sleep. But he definitely has some other issues though. I don't know much about insomnia besides can't sleep, but I don't really know. I'm not gonna say everybody, but people I do know that have it definitely don't have these issues. The next time we saw her was in a few days, or maybe in a week. He always had the best sense of time, especially when he was immersed in his work. Sure can sleep, but at least he was making some progress with the script. It was a narrative game project, as a customer called it, but actually meant do whatever you have to finish it on time. It was forget about the payment. And so he did, although he was a sinful, and that got in the way a lot. The reason of this finish was the cat. He knew how stupid that this was, but he couldn't help it. He forgave her for the bite almost immediately, that was the thing. He was bitter about how the cat ran away despite him trying his best to stay careful. She was nowhere to be found in the house, so he immediately thought about an open window on the second floor. Maybe he should have closed it? He threw it on the thought for a while. He even approached the window at some point, but then he decided not to do anything about it. He was hoping, and there was no shame in that. It's not the same as he turned up, tend to start eye grows. The cat would come back. And she said, and she did. He had just sat himself on the sofa with some book. Some was the word, as he could remember the dean from the, or a dean from the cover, even though he had read the titles several times. relate to me does, but it's fine. The sandwich was flowing before his eyes. Of course he didn't make out wood. No wonder consent he didn't sleep at all. When you think about it, it was surprising he could write in the state. Either way, he was busy following the book, so he wasn't upset at all. With a fluffy head, but in his hand, with a fluffy head, but in his hand. Hey, I'm trying to read here.
And you don't seem to be getting anywhere. What does it matter anyways? Better scratch me right here.
He complied. You were absent for so long. Thought you wouldn't come back.
Then why didn't you close the window upstairs?
There was a big difference between expectations and hopes. He had learned that well. Why did you leave? Did I do something wrong? The cat stayed silent. Oh, it doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. After all, there was no point in this quest from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges and staying blind to what they really feel. He wouldn't have won anything. It's all a dang lottery. The cat rubbed against his arm again. He put the book down and gently placed her on his lap. The lock around his expressive coat touched his skin. Then he got a hutch. Did you go home?
I have no home.
Well, someone must be caring about you if you put that color on.
Sometimes a color is just a color. Don't you know?
This time it was him who stayed silent. The cat buried her head in his stomach. Want me to take it off?
No, it is mine now. Besides, it's easier this way if I catch someone's eye on the streets.
He nodded because if you think about it, that really was a reasonable choice. The cat's fur was thick and smooth, very pleasant to touch. He wanted to bury his face in it, find out what it smelled like. What she smells like. Do you have a name?
Of course. Everything has a name.
She does seem very, cryptic, if that makes sense. And what's yours? The cat looked at him carefully with her bright eyes as if saying, take a guess. But she didn't actually say anything. On the locket there was a small engraving, a crescent moon that was dimly shining, the pale light coming out of the window. Selene? The cat looked up at him and the purpose flickered into two full minutes in the eclipse. Then she rubbed against his arm one last time and stood up, arching her back.
Don't close the window on the second floor.
I won't. She left, but the name stayed with him. And everyone else. Selene. She hummed the glass white in the moonlight. So whispered the long shadows of the fringes outside the window. I guess we'll focus on the name. What is Selene? For some reason the question bothered him. He really gave him but it had something to do with the mythology. Such things never really caught his interest, but fortunately he knew someone he could turn to.
Meanie.
Hope. You know I can't stand them. And you know it's me who'll have to take care of it all after all. You're basically living in the office. I don't think they ever said his actual name. I think it was just he or him or something like that. So I'm assuming maybe his real name is Ethan since there's no dialogue behind it. Ethan never liked cats. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. And the dogs too, not much of a difference. He didn't like the very idea of keeping a predator at home, even a small one. He couldn't explain why. Hope signed. She closed the tab with the Kitty's website and slapped her husband lightly on the shoulder. Even so, the faces of the pushing cats, deeply depressed and equally concave, she still lingered before his mind's eye. Ethan held up his hands in a conciliatory gesture. He knew it wasn't over yet. Hope was not the one to give in this easily. She never was, and for him, there was something incredibly apparent about it. Come to think of it, quite possibly it'd be him who captivates, and then in a relationship, you always have to sacrifice something. In 4.5 or even 5, according to Hope, he had learned this quite well. Suddenly Hope frowned, looked at her screen.
Seems like you got an email from, Sam. A tough one. I can't quite read it. It just hit your work mailbox.
Let me see, I hope I got a new project. The main agents are fine and all, but they're about to start pulling out of my heels. If they didn't reach for his laptop, I Hope grabbed it and dodged him.
Right. Why don't we talk contracts on a Sunday evening, So, which one of us is all work and no play,
Well, such are the benefits of freelance. Come on, give it back. Hope he could lean over the armrest hanging over the floor. Hope's defenses restored several more attacks, and each time Ethan thought the laptop would definitely hit the floor. As she gave Ethan a peck on the cheek and slid off the couch, the laptop returned to its owner.
All right. I give up.
That's not voice acting, okay? I mean, what if they actually give you a new contract, but on the same old middle ages? Now that would be a twist. Yeah, a hilarious one. But there's something about the middle ages in the letter, not a mention of the payment too. Ethan read it several times. Leaving the formality aside, there was but one question in the letter. Ethan, or rather, the part of him that was responsible for finding the accurate interest, got immediately engaged by the warden. What is Selene? Ethan wrote that question around in his mouth, as if tasting it. At a glance, the answer was simple. Ethan's real passion was the only renaissance, but he was a history consultant after all. At least he liked to think of himself that way. The agency was paying him for a reason. He needed no research to tell that Selene was the goddess of the moon and the ancient Greece. The question, however, seems to be way more interesting in its nature. Or at least that's what Ethan wanted to think, because the many ages were actually about to start pouring out his ears. He was always diving into his work completely and living in age where madness, curses, and death are contagious in an exhausting trial. He needed some distraction. Of course, he had a part-time job at those online courses, but the platform where he lectured wasn't plenty anything new just yet. Oh no, the request looked interested. Every time for once more battle. The payments. Or rather, the lack thereof. It has stated. It says his name sounded familiar. He shuts the email address and found out that they away worked together on a couple of texts. Both times, his efforts were duly paid for by the agency. If he never worked for free. It was his principle, but rather it wasn't his principle, but rather a matter of necessity. The problem here was the fact that if he didn't love what he was doing too much, and if you're trying to make money from what you love, that's a slippery slope. If he shows deal and on paying a consumption hill, and then you go back to splitting this sheet projectors 8 hours a day, watching your dreams waste away. Besides, Ethan didn't want to lay Hope down. Of course, she supported him when he decided to go freelance, but Ethan never wanted to take advantage of that. No, that won't do. He works only under contract and does not give free consolations. Just as he was about to give that as a response, Hope's fair head popped from behind the door.
Are you coming?
On the walk, Hope brought up the cat thing a few more times. Ethan protested absently. His thoughts went back to the letter again and again. To that question, the more he thought about it, the more he wanted to find an answer. It was no longer a matter of helping an acquaintance whose name Ethan immediately forgot. No, it was Ethan himself who needed to lay help with distraction and an answer. It was a weird thing to do, but Ethan waited until Hope was fast asleep. Only then did he sneak over to his laptop to wire his buds. Surely he had no real answer as of yet. He threw in a few dozen polite words to change the meaning of which was he had to think about it up the case. Then he clicks in. When Ethan returned to bed, Hope is still breathing slow and deep. He listened to her for a while, trying not to think that he had broken his own rule. After all, he really needed a distraction. No matter the strength of your affection, sooner or later, you want to take a break. It was another thing he had learned over the past 4.5 years. If he even had to point out when things started to be off, he would say it was on the Saturday, that is, about a week after the first letter. But this, of course, won't be accurate. Those weird things start happening almost immediately after he pushed the send button. The first night, he saw a room in his room. A clipped white ceiling and seemingly wet walls lit with fluorescent lamps. Ethan couldn't see the lamps upstairs, but he recognized the cold shimmering light. They often used those lamps in offices. The light filled the room to the brim. If not, it was about to burst, and then the light would splash all over the room, just like the juice from the squished tomato. Apart from the walls and the light, the room had a red sofa. The sofa stood just a bit aside from the center, not too large, quite faded, flooded with shimmering white light. The light made the sofa seem to be trembling a little, and the room trembling with it. Suddenly, Ethan thought it would be way better if the sofa was standing right in the middle. Then he felt something on the simple or touch. He had to flinch, scream, stumble to the side, yet he couldn't. He was paralyzed. Only his eyes could move, and he desperately tried to reach beyond his field of vision, where something was touching his temple. Ethan felt a faint flow of air as if someone was whispering in his ears. He did hear the whisper, just one word. Ethan no longer remembered what the word was when he jumped up to bed to grasp for help. Hope muttered something in her sleep but turned to the side. It took a long time to get back to sleep, but by morning, Ethan did pass out, and when he woke up, the dream wiped out of his mind pretty quickly. A task of had interested him much more than some much spilling out of his subconscious. He was thinking about the task while he was chewing on the morning toast, driving to the bank and all the way back. It was just like a Christmas present, waiting for the time to close it. The more you tell yourself you shouldn't think about it, the more you do. At home, he did try to stick to his plan, working on the project he was paid for, but ended up sitting over a single port for several hours he couldn't squeeze out later. To heck with it. After all, he was about done with his current project. It won't be much of a problem if he presented the results of it later on, would it? Besides, it was really time for him to get briefer. One can't be spending so much time in the world about madness, causing death or contagious. To hell with it. He did that as it classifies of the project he was paid for. There's plenty of information, but even though he would not get into right away, the accurate and just like the precious pearls lay at great depths, he had to go down to the very bottom. Ethan was not afraid. He had done it many times. His counterpart might have to wait for a week or so, but Ethan knew he'll manage to crack the riddle. Okay. What he didn't know is what else would be found at these great depths. And at some point in his investigation, things started happening. He started hearing sparse voices, even though he never turned on TV or radio and Hope wasn't even at home. When he sat in front of the screen, once again trying to connect the dots in research, he could feel someone look at the back of his head. When he turned around, of course, there was no one in the room. I saw something. I definitely saw something there. I swear I saw like a finger. That scared me. My room's not overly dark right now, so, but still, that actually, like, caught me. Because right after he said that, I saw a slight thing move. And I'm gonna get a drink. Rather, things were disappearing and reappearing in strange places. One day, he found his picture in the freezer, stuck in a mince meat briquette. Even when the briquette melted down, he couldn't pour the whole pinch out. All even got was a bloody stump. At this point, he could stop and think of it, but got distracted by the coffee maker as he shoved the stump into the trash bin. There was something wrong with his eyes too. They became sharper, thicker, and deeper. But it was the case in the whole apartment. Sometimes they moved. Of course, if you don't feel like they were moving, it shouldn't have been the other way around. Either way, Ethan didn't really pay attention to any of this, just like he did with that dream he had. All of that seemed very familiar, as he already experienced similar things during the periods of intense work, when his nervous system was exhausted by the workload. There always was a rational explanation for the stress, or those new, much more environmentally friendly light bulbs that Hope had installed all around the apartment. Besides, it's so easy to dismiss this sort of thing when you're deeply invested in something, and this question really got Ethan involved. Every time he seemed to get it right, he thought his thought went off, like he was coming to walk, but a safe lead suddenly turned slippery, and the next thing he knew, he's at the bottom again. He never faced anything like that during his previous research. There were times he had to spend weeks or months looking for the right answers. Those were the tricky cases, but at least he could always tell how his research was progressing. This time he was stumbling in his tracks without knowing why, and that was all he could tell. The week was over, but it still had nothing to send back to his contact. And his reply even asked a couple of questions, and that he was really interested just as curiosity. And that's how the surprisingly exciting email conversation started. At this, Evan's contact could be something more or something of a friend, maybe. He never asked how Evan's work was progressing. That was the question Ethan asked himself, and the answer was never good for him. Of course, he started sleeping badly. Fall asleep was easy, but he woke up many times during the night, sometimes in cold sweat. Ethan could not remember his dreams. The light, the night, He woke up about 3 or 4 times. At first, Ethan was lucky to fall asleep about immediately after he woke up. But at some point, his eyes got open again. This time, that sleep wouldn't come. Ethan felt terribly dusty. He found no slippers on the usual spot. The noise could wake up Hope, so he decided not to look for them, and only regretted it when approached the kitchen. The floor was bloody cold, so cold that Ethan unconsciously looked down. Okay. When he was looking up again, he saw a shadow. No doubt that shadow belonged to a woman, a naked woman. Ethan could clearly see the points of her nipples as the shadow turned around. No wonder it was freezing cold here. The shadow moved slowly along the wall, floating in a rectangular pool through the moonlight. She was dancing. She was dancing in the humming silence, and Ethan's ears were full of music. Ethan was watching her, unable to move. He was paralyzed, just like back then in his dream, but he did not remember it. At that moment, he didn't remember anything at all. Couldn't think about anything at all. What is this? He felt as an itch in his eyes and the momentary urge to blink. For a fraction of a second, he could only see the thick vision darkness, and when he opened his eyes again, there was no shadow anymore. The glowing rectangle shifted in place and now lay on the kitchen floor at Ethan's feet. He could see the cool white light flowing into the seams between the tiles on the floor. For some reason, he took a deep breath and then stepped forward into the rectangle of light. Nothing happened. And what was supposed to happen? What did he really see? Did he really see anything? He walked deeper into the room, much bolder, grabbed the decanter and started to drink a big greedy sips. Water streamed down his chin and chest, hitting the tiles on the floor and poured into the grooves of the seams. No, that wasn't a delusion. The kitchen was completely empty and the floor felt warm again, and yet it was a delusion. It wasn't a delusion. And all of this was begging for a rational explanation. That's why Ethan decided he should talk to Hope in the morning. Something changed. Did you give anyone the apartment keys now, by chance?
What?
Actually, there is something up here that's bothering me. Devil is made of clay to make soups, just like any human being. For the devil. It's getting late and then I come. She serves tomato soup. She used to serve other things, but not anymore. I'm in the tomato soup. They both eat tomato soup. That's how I get in. Hmm. Okay. December 15th. The bus driver saw me. He didn't laugh at me and didn't get mad like my mom. He even allowed me to play in the bus. I wish there were more people like him. February 13th. An awful day. I was crazy scared for mom. She says she'll have some days off and we'll be watching movies and eating waffles. I love that, but she looks very sad and I don't know what to do. Okay. This is a sad one, right? I probably should save, honestly. Hope voiced with a cup out of lips and blinked several times. Maybe you've let someone in?
I didn't. No! What's with those questions?
I feel like someone is visiting our
What do you
place.
mean?
Exactly what I said. It's been a while since I started noticing when things vanish, and yesterday I hope around. She looked even as if a toad had just popped out of his mouth.
Yesterday, you. What?
Maybe it's not good to lie to her. She's probably gonna get mad, but how would he say it though? They saw a shadow that looked like a naked woman, or would he just say, I saw a naked woman in the kitchen? Like, how would that look? Let's say it bluntly. I saw someone in our kitchen last night. Some girl. The deep line of Hope's forehead disappeared. She leaned back in her chair and laughed, throwing her head back.
What a show you put on. Okay, fine, I confess. I did steal your cupcake. I mean, am I supposed to? I barely see you lately, so sweet pastries are my best shot to get some fun at night. Damn, I didn't realize you still remembered that cupcakes even exist. It was lying around the fridge for what? 3 days?
Hope glanced at Eve, didn't expect him to start laughing too. Yeah, he still looked very serious. She noticed for the first time that the whites on his eyes were pinkish and full of broken capillaries. Her smile slowly faded. Come on, maybe you left the keys on the table somewhere?
I always leave my keys when I'm in the office. But I'm pretty sure there's no cat burglars among my colleagues. Come to think of it, we should have hired a bunch. That'd balance the risk of going broke we have on a monthly basis.
You shouldn't have recalled Kiss would play a joke on us?
A joke? Good God, Ethan. You look like you're about to eat me alive. Take a bun instead. Tastes better, trust me.
Hope pulled her chair closer to Ethan and took his hand.
Please, hon. Promise me you'll take a break after that project of yours is finished. I mean, one psycho is enough for our family. You promise?
Ethan suddenly felt like a total idiot. A tired total idiot. A nigga go in the kitchen? Yeah, sure. He probably overworked to the point he started being delirious at times. Maybe even walked in his sleep. He squeezed Hope's fingers lightly, tightly. I promise. Sorry, I'm a moron. I'll probably stop seeing the difference between dream and reality.
Why don't you call Laura?
No, a shrink is the last thing I need right now. My bad, sure, but that'd be just too cool. What I need is to finish that project. After that, all the gears in my head will fall into place, I give you my word.
Oh, don't be like that. I mean, there's no need to start full-fledged therapy anyway. Sometimes, talking through your worries with a professional is all it takes to feel better.
At least I should not pushed you on it. I get that you have enough problems of your own right now. How is it going in your new position? Hope rested her head on his shoulder and shrugged.
Not fired yet, apparently. Seriously though, I haven't figured it out yet. Those new responsibilities are exciting, but I always feel like I'm 10 times slower than I should be. I should probably get ready for a nice, fat piece of overtime by the end of the month.
Ethan kissed her forehead, closed his eyes, and squeezed the bridge of his nose. Well, I'm not the head of a department as of yet, but I seem to have the same stuff on my plate. Just how do you manage not to pester me with stupid questions?
Well, I eat cupcakes at night. You should give it a try.
I'll beat the shake a couple times per every finger.
Anyway, don't worry. I didn't give keys to anyone. And the only cat anything I've let inside was an actual stray cat. Now that I think of it, it's been ages since we had any company. Maybe we should.
A cat? What cat? Hope sign you put away.
Please don't get all worked up, okay? At least I'm being open with you. Don't worry, she didn't wander around.
Hope, we've talked this over already.
We've talked over what? The fact that what I want doesn't really matter?
Take it, Hope. This is my apartment and
And you're staying here alone now?
Hope finish her tea in a couple of gulps.
I have to go to the office.
She stopped at the door, not turning around.
Sorry about the cat. She was really skinny, and I felt sorry for her. I also feel sorry for myself, Ethan, because I'm lonely. Really lonely.
This time, Ethan felt like an angry idiot. He got up from the table and reached for Hope. Hope,
Don't. I'll start crying. It'll take time. And I don't have any to spare right now. See you tonight.
See you tonight. He didn't know what else to say, so he followed Hope into the hall like a silent shadow. He thought the right words would come to him, but the entrance door closed and he remained silent. In his sign, he regretted his decision to talk about the night episode. He regretted having to talk to her now. He felt sorry for himself. And as for Hope, after all, Ethan was real that he really didn't spend enough time with her. At first because of the agency parts, and now because of the question to what he still could not find an answer. There was something in this. He's going to make some coffee, then he'll open the laptop and write up some intro. It won't be an accurate one, but it's really time to finish the work marathon. After all, he didn't even get paid for his time. Ethan nodded to the closed door and turned around, ready to execute the plan. That's when he saw, just for a split second, but dang it, he saw a black-haired girl flushing the doorway of one of the rooms. Not even flashed, but drifted. Like Ethan's mouth went dry. Shadow. Of course, there was no one in the room. This has gone too far. Ethan had gone too far, but he couldn't turn back. Even though he was going to. He didn't even make any coffee. He wanted to get rid of that question, get good night's sleep, and forget about the whole thing. Forget about the shadow that danced in his kitchen. Forget about the pale silhouette that wandered through his apartment. Forget that at the very moment someone is looking at the back of his head, and that look makes the skin feel as cold as the kitchen floor that last night, and the hairs one by one stand on it. Ethan clenched his teeth, not with anger, but with some new emotion he couldn't name. The blood hummed in his ears, louder and louder. It will all be over after he writes the letter. It will be over. He opened his laptop, his hands were shaking a little, and he was pouring his fingers over the keyboard when the silver rang. Ethan flinched. He started up blinking for a few seconds as the vibrating rectangle of glass and plastic scrawled across the symbol. Don't. Do not answer. Don't do it. Suddenly he grabbed the phone and pushed the accept button. Ethan himself didn't know how to happen. He just did it, that's all. The phone pressed tighter against his ear. He waited for a hoarse, gurgling voice to call his name and tell him to look behind, or what it's supposed to happen in a case like this. Hope?
Ethan?
Hope?
Were you expecting someone else, you dolt? Okay, sorry. I'm super uneasy, and so I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah, I'm uneasy too. And that was completely true.
I just... Look, Am I distracting you right now?
You are, and I'm very happy about that. Go on, please.
That's great. Look, it didn't come off well at breakfast, right?
Yes? I'm sorry, I'm being awful.
No, I'm sorry. Both of us have it hard now, so let's try not to fight, okay?
Good, great idea.
Why don't we go out tonight? Save for groceries? Counts as going out, if you ask me. I'll go crazy being cooped up like that.
Oh, so, so that's what's driving me nuts. Should I go out for that zucchini more often?
So what do you say?
Okay, we're gonna buy all the zucchini tonight. Hope loud. Ethan suddenly realized that the blood wasn't buzzing in his ears. No one was looking at the back of his head, and if he turned around, he would only see Hope's socks that she left on the shoe again. Hope, I love you.
I love you too, very much. See you tonight.
At the fancy car, he turned around. The socks were resting peacefully in the chair, which meant everything was okay. He went back to the mail and only there he noticed $70. Two of them were from his counterpart. Ethan hesitated. He had already decided his course of action concerning the question, so there was no harm in taking a look. He won't feel any guilt. After all, he had already done far more than he should have. Of course, he is a lifesaver for those wanting to sell books, mention historical accuracy, but having no interest to pay for it properly. And so what? He just have to do a project job for free. Heck, he doesn't even work for free. That's what Ethan thought. Then he opened two letters he got and changed his highly reasonable decision. His counterpart was asking how soon he would get into. So, this happened after all. The tone was very polite and apologetic. He wasn't expecting anything, but he really needed the help of someone special competent. According to the emails, he wasn't doing very well. The poor man had been suffering from insomnia for an insane amount of time, and it seemed that he too began imaginings. It was as if Ethan himself saw himself from the outside. He suddenly felt very sorry for his acquaintance. Of course, he had began to feel sorry for him earlier, but now Ethan felt a sharp bit of pity. He realized that if he helps his acquaintance, he will help himself, but if he steps back now, what's the value of a specialist? He was afraid of a later challenge. As Hope once said, the cruel ladder is made of thorn. Of course, he no longer works in office, but professional growth requires just as much effort if he's still self-employed. And besides, Ethan had hope. Hope, who never gets necessarily and forgets get your socks on the shoe. Hope, who loves him very much. Hope, who will go to the store with him tonight because being cooped up like that can drive one crazy. That's maybe what was happening to his acquaintance right now. Ethan had to help him. Not because of money, but because he could and because it was the right thing to do. They will both finish the projects and then they will have a good night, good rest. They might even go out for a glass of beer together. So Ethan thought and got back to the question with the newfound strength. The pages of books did not one show in this far corner of the room. His eyes went wandering in the corridor, and suddenly no one looked back, looked at the back of his head until David. And even Hope came back. Hope looked up from her magazine and leaned over the armrest.
You had a call from the agency?
Ethan just got back from the shower. He froze in place, clenching the towel eyes raised. Some of the coat stood uncomfortably in his stomach. The project. He had completely forgotten about the agency part because it had been more than 2 weeks. The deadline was very close. He started for the phone, but Hope just waved her hand lazily.
Don't worry, I picked it.
What did you tell him?
I told them you'd stop eating, sleeping, and loving anything other than work, so they'll get those files all nice and shiny. Pretty accurate, huh?
Yeah. Just don't pick up my phone again, okay? Hope shrugged.
Sure. I mean, it was you who asked me to answer the calls in the first place.
Yes, I know. When I just started working for them, it was important to let them see I am always in touch. Now that I passed the probation period, there was no point in piling this on you any longer. Thank you for coming for me.
No problem. If you're getting a call, and I'm not too lazy to go pick it up, I can watch your back.
No, you really shouldn't. This project is complicated. I might deal with it myself. Ethan said rigid. He never considered himself a good liar, but Hope didn't seem to notice anything. She sighed, pretending to be upset and otherwise.
Well now, guess I'm being fired from an unpaid security position without any honors or compensation. Capitalism sucks.
Ethan leaned over, tucked a strand of blonde hair behind her ear, and looked into her eyes. His hands remained on Hope's cheek. Your help is very important to me. Hope's hand went over his. She closed her eyes.
I know.
I couldn't have done it without you.
What else is new?
They kissed. When Hope pulled away, she looked pleased, a slight smile on her lips. Are we still going to the store?
I'm not sure.
They reached for each other again, but the phone gave a shriek ring. After the phone call this morning, Ethan turned the silent mode off. Oh well, my city needs me. Ethan briefly pressed his lips to her forehead. Hope's sinus slapped his butt.
If God existed, he'd really want us to buy some zucchinis. I'll go and get dressed.
A call was from the agency. They needed more details and dates. Ethan went out into the hallway and tried to make it sound as plausible as he could. Yes, he understands that deadline's very close. No, there were no serious hitches in the work. Yes, he was seeing everything on time. When the call finally ended, Ethan's neck and face were flushed by the time. He was light after all. Ethan had to catch his breath. When he returned to the room, Hope was reaching for his laptop. What are you doing? Hope glanced at him over the shoulder. This time she looked surprised.
Nothing special, really. I just wanted to print out some discount coupons. What about it?
Ethan left a bunch of files and tabs open. They had nothing to do with the agency projects, and he didn't want to Hope to see them. After all, she didn't know enough about his project to serve as sole secretary. About all the projects except for one that Ethan shouldn't have taken because it wasn't paid for. Maybe his fears were irrational. Maybe Hope wouldn't blame him. But Ethan felt ashamed and he didn't want to take any chances after what happened this morning. I have lots of unsaid files now. Some important information might get lost. Can I print those coupons myself? Ethan felt the heat rise again in his neck and cheeks. Hope stared at him for a few seconds. Ethan couldn't read the expression on her face, and that creeped him out. He was ready to hear the reporters, and he even agreed with them in his mind, but Hope simply walked away.
Sure. I'll send them to your mail.
They spent most of the way to the store and said signs. Honestly, this part is probably the least interesting. This whole section. It's it's not bad per se, but I kind of wanted to see more with the Wyndham catgirl that just comes and goes, and the guy. That seems a lot more interesting. That's what I feel like this novel should be about. It's pretty much in the name of the novel. But ever since after the first 30 minutes, if that, more like 15, I guess, since you actually saw her, most of it's not been about her. So though they did have a nice subtext at the end of it, I'll pop out something, which might mean something else. But I'm like, I kind of want to get back to that. I spent most of the way to the store and to science. A few times, Ethan asked something just to make sure Hope was still talking to him. Hope was through the interest with Ryan, and she never even attempted to make a joke. It's not that bad, even to himself. It's not that bad at all. If you repeat it again and again, you could buy a later time, but in the end, the anxieties will prevail. It was thus, even as mine quickly figured out the owner was try to trick it and spat out the chewing gum. At the moment, Ethan got caught in an avalanche of thoughts he didn't want to deal with and couldn't in his current state. Something had to be done, to be said, but what? Maybe he would actually do something after all. Ethan imagined touching her fingers, and he immediately saw her pulling the head back, her eyes glistened. Now she opened her mouth to ask a question Ethan had no answer for. They have to talk, one way or another. Ethan didn't know where to start without burying himself even deeper. He had less thinking about. He had been thinking about it the whole way, but never came up with anything. They reached a market on the next block, a place they had long dubbed the store was pushing her life despite the rattling hour. As soon as they entered the large glass doors, attention began to come off on his own. The cards were scarce, but Ethan got them one in exchange for a coupon. Hope gave him a thumbs up with not bad at all expression on her face. Hope enthusiastically prints a huge, colorful, utterly lucrative mug, and Ethan immediately agreed they had to buy it. They tried to find a pill for the mug, but a prudent supermarket employee said it was the last one. They were really disappointed, but well, at least that was something. Looking for a mug that was a D&D that finally did a trick. Now they were huddled together, looking for their favorite treats and arguing about which breakfast cereals are the best. That time wasn't until they reached the meat department. I'll go pick something out before it's all cleared. Hope nodded absently. She was stuck at one of the big fridges in the middle.
Okay. I'll be waiting for you here.
The meat shelves were half empty, as usual at this hour. Ethan was hoping to find a steak or some minced meat. However, he soon forgot about the broth. There was a girl standing by one of the shelves. Ethan couldn't see her face, only her pale back under a white dress with her straps, and also her disheveled dark hair. Ethan's cheek was stung with cold as if his face was lying on the shelf in one of those refrigerated display cases. Just between the pork ribs and the long ribeye and the black Polaris foam tray. Is that who? Ethan took a few uncertain steps forward. Then he backed away, almost knocking over a nice old lady. He couldn't even muster an apology. Grabbed the first thing that came to hand and turned around the nearest row of shelves. He tried not to run, because if it would have looked too stupid, Ethan explained to himself as he reached the end of the roll and paid around the corner. The girl was still picking out meat. Isn't what you're doing now stupid too? For sure it is, Ethan agreed with himself. Oh, maybe that is Selene? The girl no longer buried the sheik, and the girl seemed quite ordinary. Maybe it's kind of leading up to that. Except she was dressed too lightly for the cool weather, but that was still not considered a crime in any of the states. Ethan smiled in his own thoughts. Generally speaking, the girl was rather attractive, and her light clothing allowed one to fully appreciate it. With a waist passed into a seductive curve of her lips, beneath the voice white fabric, one could make out her rounded buttocks.
Fun.
What?
I was asking broccoli or Brussels sprouts.
Hope stood still with two colorful plastic bags in her hands, looking at Ethan questioningly. He blinded several times, squeezed as if he had just stepped out into the bright light from a darkened room. When did he get back to Hope? Why was he holding a bottle of Thousand Islands dressing? I I don't know. He was a little dizzy.
Are you alright?
I have been wondering though, what is that thing on her face? I keep looking at it and I'm trying to find like what it is. But like I thought maybe it's something that's completely obvious that I just can't comprehend it. But every time I look, I just don't know what that's on her face. Like it almost, I thought maybe like some kind of like scar that's stuck there. I almost thought maybe it's her nose. But I was like, no, that'd be a weird place for her nose. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, what is that? I feel like it shouldn't be there. It's just so distracting. You look at like a Celine or whatever, and I mean she looks normal, but you look at her and she got that scar there or whatever. It's like what? Yeah, yeah. Never mind. I'm sorry, I was just lost in thoughts. Hope tried not to look in the direction Ethan had been focusing on for so long. She really tried, but something's trying isn't hard enough, no matter how much effort you put in. At the very moment, the dark-haired girl's light white dress was floating away from the meat shelves. She must have finally made a choice.
I see.
For a moment, Ethan thought both colorful plastic bags were about to slap him in the face. But Hope just smiled and tossed the bags into the cart. Ethan heard them crunch loudly as they hit the bottom.
Well, let's take a bath.
Hmm? What? Let's take a bath or let's take both?
Variety is the spice of life.
They haven't bought any zucchini. The night he had a night dream about the right room. The walls were still trembling, surveying the cold light. Everything in the room, including the ale, was oozing tension, anguish and anticipation of what was about to happen. And something was really about to happen, no doubt about it. Ethan suddenly realized he was looking at the room from an odd angle. He seemed to be standing on something, but he couldn't feel anything under his feet, no support. He tried to look down, but only saw the shimmering nail. He had no legs and none above the missing legs. And if he was not there, as if he was not there, or rather he was, the shimmering nail, the chip setting in the walls, that was still trembling. It was the red sofa standing a little away from the censoring a couple of unremarkable white doors on opposite walls of the room that were not there the last time. Uh, wait, and that should not have been though. None can be done about it now. The doors have appeared, and there's nothing that can be done about it now. Oh. The light grew dim, not pulsating noticeably. It was still emanating from the room entirely, reflecting from the white walls, but most of all, from the twin ball on the wall between two doors that were not supposed to be there. For some reason, Ethan tried to reach the rhythm of the light with his breath, yet he couldn't. There were two figures sitting on the sofa. One pale, the other dark. The dark one came into the room through one of the doors, but Ethan couldn't guess which one. The pale one was Hope. Hope, what are you doing here? You can't be here. You have to leave right now or something will happen. The pulse of light became faster. The dark one moved towards Hope and tucked a blonde strand behind her ear. Everything was happening very slowly, as if underwater. There was something odd about the dark one. Something about her was wrong, but Ethan couldn't guess what. She leaned towards Hope's ear and covered her mouth with her hand, and Hope leaned towards her and listened very carefully, as if they had a mutual secret among themselves. Something was about to happen. They both looked at Ethan, even though Ethan wasn't here, or rather he was nowhere, because no white room ever existed. Then one of them smiled. The dark one's fingers slid down Hope shit. I'm almost am starting to get the impression of Doki Doki Literature Club in a way, just because of how they kind of do things. It's not quite the same because there's no like, as far as I know, fourth wall breaking or nothing like that, but it gets a slight vibe of it, maybe slight. A soft rounded line. They were no longer looking at Ethan, only at each other, very closely and were slowly inhaling the light. The dark one struck Hope's cheeks, and there was no light left between their charred lips as they collided. Ethan saw drops of saliva glistening on their lips. The dark one licked her lips and raised her tongue to make space for a long black snake as it got out of her mouth. The snake swayed and tasted the air with its own tongue and reached out to Hope. Hope closed her eyes. Now the snake was stroking her cheek, longer black over and over again, in a spiral, always in a spiral. Hope reached for the band that covered her eyes, and the dark girl reached for her hands, and their fingers intertwined, and the light between their lips melted as it always happens at sunset. Yet there was no more snake. It was just a black ribbon, a poisonous ribbon covered in scales. The pulse of the moon became faster. One of the lamps came into an eclipse. She has a number of fates, that's a clue. Faces, that's a clue. The bodies of two girls merged on the wet sofa, and his own flesh was shaking and shrinking. Ligaments, barbs, bones, vessels in places where they come very close to the shady red upholstery. His heart rate became faster, faster, faster. And then something happened. Ethan woke up. His breath was bubbling in his throat. The ceiling above him was flowing with a miserable darkness, and down below his stomach he felt so he he was so intense that he had to sneak into the bathroom, and as his old man used to say, he had to squeeze it off. And not just once, but whopping two. That evening loomed over the sink and was looking at himself in the small rectangular mirror for quite a while. At some point his lips started trembling. Ethan did not wait to see where that was going. Where this was going. He spat in the sink, let the water for a while, then he turned his lights off. hmm. Evening didn't want morning to come. Something changed. How to make the tomato soup. I feel like tomato soup's a big analogy here or something. At some point, he had to remove her fingernail in an accident at the factory. She got lost. It's legal, but it's painful still. Devil comes from the little cracks. They don't tell you at school. No time to cook. If you got an inch on the shelf, tomato soup. And I wish you'd never been born. I'm not sure one of a lot of these will appeal. For getting other innings. Not other innings, other choices. Do you want to wake up? Oh, something changed over here too. Triple eighth. I got an F for the essay. Mom would be mad. The bus driver said it was good and I should keep writing. He's nice, but I might have a B anyway. Hope Mom isn't too. May 3rd. Mom is acting funny and smells funny too. She says she loves me all the time, but I'm a little bit when she's like that. Oh, okay. See a hidden grudge in Hope's eyes. She listens to the awkward silence and sees every opportunity to say a word to break it. But morning did come, and Ida wasn't for surprise. Everything was fine. Pretty much so. Hope got up early to make a superior breakfast, the kind Ida was never able to cook, and even when he really wanted to. She was talking to him. She was joking. She listed at least 10 places they would go with when their schedules became more relaxed. The nightmare seemed to be over. She'd be washed away down the drain with the rest of all the insects he used to have in his body. The image was so weird that Ethan got completely relaxed. Let his guard down. Those by the cute nonsense, waffles with cream and delicious Turkish coffee. Did it help out the next question?
Do you think a darker hair color would suit me?
The coffee suddenly turned solid and stuck in his throat. It didn't feel as if it was a coffee up, but finally grabbed glass. He coughed. What? Who put your elbows on the table and sipped from a coffee as if nothing had happened?
I was just thinking of becoming a brunette. What do you say? Huh?
I don't know. I'm fine with whatever as it is. As long as you like it, I guess. A tiny piece of glass was still scratching him from the inside. Eden tried to clear his throat, but it didn't get much better. But why? Were you thinking about it? Eden struggled to speak. He felt as if he was falling into a pit and the air was rushing to his ears.
Well, one has to change from time to time. Variety is good, isn't that right?
She took a nice sip.
Besides, I find plenty of dark hair all over the apartment. Not very long, you know, but not too short either. About this length?
Even before tapped her neck with the edge of her hand, Ethan knew the hand would stop.
And so I thought, if I go brunette, I can believe those hairs are mine.
Hope still stretched and the corners of her mouth turned up, but she wasn't smiling. This isn't happening. This just can't be happening. He must still be sleeping. This is a dream, just a shining dream in her hands. Now Ethan desperately wanted something, uh, wanted morning to come, but morning just couldn't come for a second time in the day. Hope leaned back in her chair and looked at him with her hand on one side and a fake smile smarting her lips. Something bad has to be done about it, all of it. Something had, okay? Wait this moment. I don't really. I mean, I guess to the truth, as far as you know, we've never been really around anybody with black hair, right? No darker hair or nothing like that. I mean, we seen that one girl, but we never confronted her. And anytime we've seen a girl with black hair, it's been in the dreams. So you know, it's been in the dreams. So that wouldn't affect real life. This shouldn't affect real life. So explain's probably not gonna work. 'Cause she's probably not gonna believe me. I feel like, but I mean, we haven't really done that wrong. We've been faithful the whole time. So except the stranger's going on.
Yeah, I could tell as much.
Hope I'm serious. Something strange is going on. I have no explanation. Neither good nor bad, none at all.
Oh, really? Actually, I have an idea or two.
Wait, I'm not saying that yesterday in the story, you didn't stop short.
Go on.
He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. I'm not saying I didn't still have to go. I did, and it's obvious. I was trying to. She reminds me of someone, and I was trying to figure out if I was mistaken. I know what it looks like, and it's my fault. You decided to omit the part about Will Wine and buttocks and the light flowing fabric. Not because he wanted to look better, but because he knew it would hurt Hope, and he really didn't want to hurt her. Please forgive me if you can. I didn't. I did a crappy thing. I'm really sorry. He put his hand on the table. He put his hand on the table so that the fingers touched a little. Hope they move away. Next time we go shopping, you can stare at everyone you like. I'll try my best not to cry. Can't promise anything though. Hope wins, but Ethan knew she was hiding a smile.
Alright then. But keep in mind, I'll pick the hottest ones.
I don't stand a chance, do I? She smiled wide and went for the sale.
Absolutely.
And about the hills, Hope's smile disappeared without trace. I don't know where they came from. Seriously, there's something wrong there.
Ethan, please. I don't want to.
No, listen, please. I really think that some tree is getting inside our apartment somehow. Do you believe me? Hope looked for him. I have for a while. Then she shivered.
Damn you, Ethan. Yes. I do believe you.
I don't understand how this happens or what they want, but I think it's something to cut to place and let them sort it out. It's their job after all.
Maybe you should actually call Laura first. I think it's the time.
Yes, I do that as well. Hope push this in.
Let's promise each other we won't go crazy. Okay. I also see things. All sorts of things. I mean, sometimes you find hair, just some damn hairs, and you start questioning everything. We just need to get through these dark times somehow. It'll get better. I'm sure it will.
Ethan nodded. Yeah. Hope pushed his hand again and got up from the table.
Okay, I have to go now. I'll probably be late, and we'll have to hold up at work today.
Should I meet you after?
Maybe I'll call you later, I guess.
Hope,
Hmm?
I love you.
I love you too. Very much. Don't forget to call Laura.
Ethan nodded absently. When the door shut behind Hope, Ethan called Laura. Hope found Laura a long time ago. Seemed like Laura helped a lot. At least that's what Hope would have said. Ethan didn't know any details. No wanted to, since Hope hadn't told him. After all, psycho psychotherapy is a very personal matter. Suppose that Ethan felt as if he was standing naked in the middle of a busy street when he had to describe what was happening to him. Apparently, one can get used to this too, as by the middle of the story, he was sparing no details. To Ethan's surprise, when he mentioned the stupid emails from his contact that were kind of getting, there was no Laura picked up. Saying you have recently become quite close to your acquaintance. You emphasize and try to help him, right? Oh, yes, something like that. And your contact's letters contain vivid, disturbing imagery, yes? Imagery that evoked a sort of response from you, is that right? You could say that. He's a writer after all. Vivid images are his livelihood. Do you know what induced delusional disorder is, Mr. Harrison? Ethan tried to recall. He definitely read about it, but didn't look much into it. Is that the thing that explains mass insanity? Like that dancing plague of 1518 in Strasbourg? That's right. He said there's also called four-layered ducks or madness for two. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? Okay, good. Ethan thought she herself was not all too sane. Of course she wasn't. She has to deal with the guys like me all the time. But Laura had always returned to her usual tone, calm and measured. This condition causes perfectly healthy people to express various, let's say, negative effects. It works like this. We have a source of delirium, and those who perceive it, one or more people. As you correctly noted, sometimes this disorder can take on a truly massive scale. This is usually an emotional connection between the victims of this condition. Your wife is also at risk, unfortunately. Laura paused. I can't make a diagnosis in such a format, Miss Harrison. However, I think you need to limit contact with your acquaintance, at least for the time being. He might be the source of the unpleasant state you're experiencing. Would you like to make an appointment for a constellation? Ethan politely declined. Laura listened to the rest of what he had to say. She asked what pause pills Ethan was taking. Ethan wasn't taking any except aspirin because he had lots of headaches lately. She advised him to reduce the workload, follow the daily routine, and take light sanders if necessary. Something horrible, maybe. If I meet in person, there wasn't much Laura could offer. He even had no energy, time, or money to start the full-on therapy as Hope called in. Ethan thanked Laura with all his heart, finished the car, stretched, and took a deep breath that made his wrist a website. They smiled. Though so though no full-on therapy was involved, this conversation still made Ethan feel much better. The reality made some sense again, and nothing out of the ordinary was happening. Nothing he could handle. He shrugged again and was about to go for another cup of coffee with his breath, steady deep breath of a man who's in control, caught in his throat. receiver. Someone was looking at the back of his head. Ethan turned around slowly. I'm calling the police. Ethan spoke each word loud and clear. It was a decent plan. An actually decent one. And a serious one wasn't funny in any way. And yet, the girl sitting on the windowsill was suddenly laughing and covering white teeth beforehand. The girl from the supermarket. The girl from the dream. She was still wearing a light white dress, even though in the morning the temperature dropped to 53 degrees Fahrenheit. It never was going to rain. One of the straps fell down to her side, but the girl was in no hurry to put it back on. She swung across the legs later, looking at Ethan from under her brow, with a smile of a child who had hilarious mischief in mind. Did I say something funny? The girl quickly raised her eyes and shrugged slightly, still holding back a smile. Just as before, she did not make a sound. Even assumed she could be mute, but decided to make one last attempt. Just one question, and then he calls the cops. Both really good questions, but considering that we've seen her multiple times in some capacity, we saw the supermarket obviously, but we did see her in a dream. I don't think it's more the fact how she got here, it's the fact who is she to begin with. Because she's just measured to this extent, who is she? The girl's eyes become round and her face turned into a surprised grimace. Overly surprised, Ethan immediately remembered the time when he had hope and came across a couple of street mines. She poked her thin finger to her chest, which made her tense nipples show up voice like under the fabric of her dress.
Me? I am what you were looking for.
She spoke slowly, stretching out her vowels with some kind of delight. A moment later, the girl reached for something behind her back, quickly poured it to her lips and took a sip. Ethan's throat became tired with blood that abruptly rushed to his head. Well, how did you get this? The girl traced Ethan's gesture with a genuinely surprised look. In the next moment, she parted her fingers. Hope's huge, colorful cup, the one that has got at the store, tinkered hopefully as it struck the floor and it shattered to pieces. Just like that, there was a brief moment the cup was lying peacefully on the floor, even though got enough time to hope it would endure the fall. And then firecrackers burst everywhere at once as the furious white light broke out from the inside. But no, that was milk. Just some milk.
You shouldn't have spooked me, you know. Now look at what you've done. The poor cup is so broken. So many eeny-meeny tiny pieces. There's no way to mend it at all.
Ethan was suffocating. What the heck are you doing here? What do you want from me? The girl bit her lip and twisted a fallen shoulder strap between the fingers. The top of the dress slid even
Do
lower.
you want me to leave? But I may run into Hope. Right at the door, Ethan. She forgot her pass and will be here any minute. What will the poor girl think?
The girl looked over her shoulder and her face instantly lit up.
It's her! Here she is! Hope is simply amazing, accurate to a minute. Hello, hello!
The girl turned over to her stomach, leaned on the sill, and waved vigorously to someone invisible, who just completely slid down. That Ethan would bet her tits was flashing right through the window. Why do I feel like this is gonna backfire? Because if I throw her from the window, I'm gonna have to physically grab her. But if I don't come any closer, I don't know. I did make a scene before, so I can see how each choice pans out. But I don't. I really started to think that dragging her from the window, as she's like probably half naked, probably is not the best way to go. Because if Hope comes in at that exact moment, She's gonna see me touching this gold before it's up. Even if he couldn't see it, but he knew. He felt that hope was really sending it down there. And she was looking at the window. Of course, although she couldn't see much anymore, a blurry veil covered her eyes. The girl slowly turned around and stared at him with her eyes wide open without blinking. Her shoulders shook as if she was going to cry, but she was laughing. At first, there was a couple of stiff laughs. Then it became a laughter of someone who just heard a great joke, and gradually turns into wide bucket screams. He has to stop it, right now. Even wanted to rush to the window, but took one step before the place. The girl must be out of her mind. She's stoned, or worse. She might have a syringe, and he doesn't want any more problems. He only wants the thing removed from this window sill, rooted in a steel box and dumped somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. He had his phone in his hand. Oh, jeez. 911, what's it? That's an emergency. That shrank, hunched, but kept cackling like a piece of coyote zipping on a moonlight night. She was white, ridden with laughter, and the pale wax of dry, flabby skin was shaking the rim of her moments, her dress looking like a death shroud. He suddenly thought she was much older than he thought at first. What is going on? Ethan looked at her for the last time with a mixture of hate and disgust in his eyes, and turned away, running his fingers through his hair. There's a stranger in my apartment. A woman, most likely on drugs or just insane. Can you see her right now? Ethan could see only the wall in front of him, but he heard a deafening howl. It was echoing throughout his skull, beating into his temporal bones like a desperate bird. Ethan clenched his teeth. Yes. Does she have a weapon? Maybe. She threatened me. Can you leave the apartment? No. The scum can escape, and I don't want her to get. Ethan hesitated. I can't hear you, so what is happening? Speak up, I can't hear you. What is happening? Horrifying laughter just kept echoing in Ethan's ears. There was no one behind him. He approached the window slowly as if it was happening in a dream. The charge of Hope's cup quenched under his feet, so before it the window was closed. Ethan opened it and carefully looked down. He did not see the body, too good to be true, but he had to check. Only the gray pavement which gradually turned black as it actually started raining. Ethan looked across the street just in time to notice a familiar cream-colored coat disappearing behind the corner of the nearby house. Hope? Hope? He screamed so loud that something snapped in his throat, but she didn't hear him. Or maybe she didn't want to hear. Ethan called her at least 100 times. Hope didn't answer. Ethan thought he could come to her office, but Mitch decided it would only make things worse. The police were in his apartment 23 minutes 40 seconds later. That's very specific. They didn't find any signs of forced entry in the call record, asking to find out later, but none that was in but laughter or howling. That's... You're gonna jump scare me, I can tell. No, sing to the sound, that's all I said. Hope returned sometime between late at night and early in the morning. The skin on her cheekbones was taut and almost transparent, and there were deep shadows under her eyes as she had slept a long time. She smelled of strong alcohol. Ethan went out of the dark room though. He didn't sleep and didn't turn on the light either. Things that looked in the dark, real or imagined, no longer frightened him. He even wished that something he had been dreading for the past month. He finally could name the feeling he had, what came out of the greasy blackness of the shadows of his neck. But everything in his apartment was markedly calm, except for Ethan himself. Hope? Hope stared at him silent, swaying a little. Instead of pooper shed dark hose. I've been thinking a lot what I would say to you if you came back. What I could say. Hope's face showed no emotion. It seemed like she didn't even blink. Anyway, I realized that I'm going to tell you the truth no matter how crazy it sounds. I, if I try to cheat, it only gets worse, right? Ethan gave a short, nervous laugh. Anyway, Ethan had plenty of time to think about what he was going to say, but he still didn't know where to start. Some time ago, I don't remember exactly, I started seeing a girl.
Who is she, Ethan?
I don't know.
Is it Sophie?
Who?
Sophie Wolf? Your student from that online course?
Hope made a vague gesture with her hand. Maybe he's from the late Victoria area. Ethan didn't know why he said that, but Hope obediently repeated in the flat
I
voice.
remember you were impressed with her. You always liked smart girls.
I'm not gonna complain about this because I mean it's free and all that, but like the voice actor was kind of like, I guess she sounded emotionless before this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, now I don't mind it being English voice acting. I think it works just fine. But compared to the voice acting of the Wyndham chick, it was a lot better. Except I'm not trying to criticize it. I can't voice act at all. But I think this version of Hope, the one that's like emotionless and defeated and tired, I think this is probably the best, like the perfect full voice acting because there's no emotion behind it. You don't have to try to force the emotion in it. It's just flat. I think that what makes this part even better because it sounds completely flat, emotionless, because that's what Hope is right now.
And this one was also beautiful.
Hope, this isn't what you think.
Who says I think? Thinking's too painful.
Wait, hold on. Ethan disappeared into your room and came back a few minutes later. The darkness in the hallway was diluted by the light on the screen. Hope covered her eyes with her hand, either from the brightness of the screen itself or because she didn't want to see whatever there was.
What is it all about?
Here, look. It's Sophie Wolf. On the screen, in fact, was a profile picture of Sophie Wolf, his student. On his photo, Sophie was squinting either from the bright sun or because her curly red hair was getting in her eyes. Her curly red hair, she's like a blonde. A small brown-haired girl snuggled up to her with a shy smile. They were a nice couple. If I remember right, they had a wedding this year.
Then who is...
I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I just want her out of my life, but this follows me. Well, she used to follow, but now I don't think I'll ever see her again.
Is it good or bad?
Hope, please. If you want to leave, I'll understand. But if you want to give me a chance, I promise I'll do my best to mend it all. He couldn't really promise, but he was too eager for the nightmare real or imagined to plan. No more weird stories. Please, Hope. I don't need anyone but you. If you can't get... He couldn't finish because Hope kissed him. Her back hit the floor with a thud. The rest of the night actually went fine. Well, even more than that, except for the fact they were too busy getting sleep. Whoa! At least everything was going okay until the moment when, instead of Hope's face, just for a moment, even saw. He couldn't tell. He muttered something about not feeling well and collapsed on his back, panting. He closed his eyes so that Hope wouldn't actually catch a glimpse of what he saw. Nothing happened. It wasn't well. It's fine, she understood, said Hope. Ethan sat in front of his laptop staring at his monitor. A concave mess of pushing catch stared back at him. All that was required of Ethan, he had to call the cattery. I remember her face. Where's Timo? Let's look for him together. Maybe he's up the tree chasing the birds. No, I can't see him. Maybe he's in the weeds watching the fish. No, no. Let's look some more. Maybe he's on the roadside under the blue plastic bag. There's blood. He's not there. 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 Oh. I feel like this is optional stuff, but even then, it's starting to feel part of the story. The conditions of love. What have you done? I wanted to save you. I want to save us both. You fool. That's right. But I just can't lose you. It's too late. It's never too late as long as we have each other. Oh, Elijah. It's supposed to be like an Oprah thing. The conditions of love. That's what the word almost sounds like. It looks like. A simple text, but Ethan has said, oh, there's another here. Jeremy Lemons. The news goes okay. I wish I could make friends with someone though. Mom is working late again. It's fine. I've left it. I bet we have a box when we moved in. Mom couldn't pick it up herself. I'm a big boy now. Big boys aren't afraid of anything. I'll just turn on the lights and watch TV with Timo and my friends. Only the cool stuff of animals, robots, or aliens, but not the creepy kind. It is raining. Sympathize, but if they hesitated. It's hard for him to get used to the idea of one of these pop-eyed creatures walking around the apartment. During the day, it would nap in the place. In the night, sneak into the kitchen and play with the shadows that move by themselves. And his eyes would turn into two saucers of black and green nacre if the light reached them. Ancient people believed cats would walk between worlds and see spirit. Look into Persians, even they hardly believed they could even breathe on their own. And yet, in this, if the hero said from the 21st century, agreed with the Asian people, there was something sinister about them. In any case, he should call the cattery for Hope's sake, for the sake of them both, since he had made the decision. Ethan had already picked up the phone and was about to proceed with the plan when he heard the key turn in the entrance door. Something about that wound him up. It was barely 5 o'clock in the evening, which was in any way very early for Hope to be back. If everything was fine, that is. Evening closed his laptop and went out to the hallway. For a long time he couldn't say a single word, and when he could speak again, he only managed one question. What have you done? Hope's smile faded, and for the first time in the 4.5 or even 5 years they'd been a couple, Ethan was glad of it. In fact, there was nothing surprising about it. With the new haircut and the new hair color, Hope looked unbearably insanely similar to the creature at the window. Hope's lips turned white, trembling.
This didn't help, did it? Any of it? You can't love me even now, right?
What are you talking about?
Isn't it obvious? I see how you look at me. You're disgusted. You try your best to touch me as little as possible. And no matter what I do, no matter what I try, it doesn't help.
Admit it. You never loved her. You didn't, right, Ethan? She was convenient, and that's about it. Shit makes the flowers grow. Your flowers grew so much, didn't they, Ethan? Didn't they?
Ethan would never hate his wife. More than that, he would never hate a woman, but who spoke to him was neither his wife nor woman. It was a nightmare incarnate that bared its long, sharp teeth and came to take away his wife for a second chance, or so Ethan thought at the time. The punch turned out somewhat pathetic, but you have to take into account the wife being a snuff, fair ground attraction. When you hit your wife properly, a mark does fly up to the highlighted sign, a good one. Although this is only indirectly related to the early Renaissance, even had expertise in the matter, such as old men's fast used to itch often. If there was something like that, he would know. However, if any sign could lie up at the moment, it would say something like, "You're scum, Ethan." No, he kept repeating that even after Hope stormed out of the door in tears. Ethan barely remembered the following few days. Something seemed to be happening. Some people caught him. He himself caught a lot. He caught Hope. Hope wasn't answering the phone. He knew this would happen. Every time he dialed her number, he'd know he'd end up listening to the voicemail signal. It became something of a ritual. He would wake up. Sometimes it was light outside, sometimes dark, but more often it was something gray he neither could nor would want to identify because of the dawn curtains. He'd call Hope. Hope wouldn't answer the phone. He would go to the kitchen and turn the water on. Her watch a silvery twisted stream break against the sink for a while. Eventually, he'll put a cup under the stream, fill it to the rim, drink, go to the bathroom, back to the couch. And it's too bad to be true. All of this can't be real. Life can't crumble to pieces in an instant, just collapse inwards like a wooden block tower. He could remember the name of that game. Once he and Hope went to see. He and Hope. It's too bad. All of this can't be real. He didn't do anything. Couldn't it be that he didn't do anything? He hit Hope. He hit her, and a red spot spread across her cheek. It was too dark to see, but Ethan knew how it goes. How could he do that? What happens now? What can happen now? Those thoughts were like a bunch of needles he tried to swallow over and over. Sometimes he managed to briefly forget about them. It would happen when he woke up in the great timelessness, looked at the dirty white ceiling, and didn't remember who that Ethan Harrison was. But the pain would always come back. He had a bunch of needles in his throat, and no matter how much water he drank, he couldn't get rid of it. How his father shook him up a bit. Not in the sense he could have done it, grabbing a hold of him, lifting off the ground. How his father was a tough man, and despite his age, he could have hit even hard. He was afraid of it, and at the same time, he wanted it to happen. That would have made everything easier. Maybe even fix it all. Ethan was going over in his head as he stared at the phone screen displaying the familiar number. He was awfully scared, yet he answered. It turned out Hope had asked her father to pack up for Mr. Miller's voice was flat, maybe even a bit uncertain, and when worst of all, he was angry. This plunged Ethan into despair. He couldn't get his redemption like this. However, that kind of visit forced Ethan to regain his senses. It shot back into reality like a stream of people pushing one into a crowded subway train. He tidied up the place a bit. He shaved. He figured out what to say. Several times he would wash his speech in front of the mirror. And just before Mr. Miller's arrived, Ethan left the keys with the neighbors. Simply put, he fled. Of course, he wanted Mr. Miller's beforehand with a message, but he didn't have time to call. Ethan wanted Mr. Miller's to pick up what he had to and get out as soon as possible. Mr. Miller's wasn't going to help, that's for sure. He wasn't going to help, which meant he simply got between Ethan and his wife. Ethan was angry with Mr. Miller's, like he was the source of all the trouble. Anguish boiled up beside him, mixing with cheap coffee and turning into caustic acid. There was nothing rational about this feeling. You've had plenty of time to think about it, to wait, to examine it under a magnifying glass. He was sitting in the small cafe on the corner of the street until the streets got dark. He would have stayed there even longer if a waiter hadn't come to his table to tell the place was closing. Ethan nodded absently and asked for a moment to use the bathroom. Again, there was nothing rational about being angry at Mr. Mirrorless, and to be honest, it was pathetic. It's like hating your wife and then running away and not to face her father. You're scum, Ethan. Both are scum. Ethan turned off the tap and stared at his reflection in the large mirror. A few drops of water shimmering on the tip of his nose and chin. Now that was a proper punch. Sir, I'm sorry, but Sir, are you okay? You have blood oozed from his split lip. Ethan wiped it off with his back of his hand. Yes, I'm fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you. He smiled. The fresh wound got swollen with blood again. A red blood spotted across his face, just as it should. Ethan didn't lie to Riddle. The secrets of anatomy. EX1, EX2, EX3, EX4, a white specimen. The screaming man is hiding there. Darkness, not so look criminalist. Happy Dreamland. Mary's a lamb, Johnny's a tree, and he was a lay liar, Haja Illa. He really was fine. Maybe not in the same minutes before, but the gears in his head were starting to move again. When they got home, Miss Morris had already left. Turned out that he didn't even take the keys from the neighbors. At first, Ethan assumed Miss Morris could cancel his visit, but as soon as she opened the door, his doubts disappeared. Strong, unfamiliar scent was filling the hallway. It could be Miss Morris' colleague, or maybe the smell of the apartment itself, which Hope's presence faded away. Morris must have taken his daughter's keys. Somehow, the possibility never crossed Ethan's mind before. He drew the air in through his nostrils and suddenly felt a sharp and clear in the dream he had days ago. Something was going to happen. Ethan looked away at the empty dark room and reached for the phone. Was he performing a ritual, or was he doing something would go different this time? Short beeps. Even though it was safe to say something was actually already happening, you only had to figure out what and where. Something had changed in the picture, and it's not the Hope's favorite blouse is missing from the closet. If you find a difference, you win. If you find a difference, you know where the girls are taking you. Hallway. Pot Billy Bowls on the dresser for a person does. The kitchen. An uneven row of glass jars on the shelf, an empty coffee maker bearing dry blackness at the bottom spoons, forks, and knives, some of them really sharp. A bathroom, a mirror on the wall, and a reflection, the closed doors open. No, not here. What about? Ethan licked the split lip. Yes, that's it. He has to check his email now. Ethan was looking carefully. Seemed like a lot of time has passed. His mailbox was full of various emails, but Ethan barely glanced at the names. He was looking for something special. And what was special about? Say, letters from agents that were gradually becoming more and more concerned. At some point, concern turned into a cold and aggressive. Ethan idly skimmed through the notice of contact information. Not what he was looking for. He started with the oldest emails and skimmed the list all the way to the top. Nothing. Maybe he's looking in the wrong place? Maybe there's just nothing to look for? No. Something is happening. No, he has a finger what it will. He even got so close to the accurate intro of these questions that the light of new knowledge could have borne out his eyes. At the top of the list was an untitled letter. Maybe Ethan missed it the first time, or maybe it just wasn't there before. The center was the same wire that Ethan had wanted to help complete free of charge. Ethan's lung turned into a deflated pool ball. He clicked on the name of the letter name. Of course, the letter actually had a name. Milk lines carefully add untied to the empty line, just in case you'll loosen it when you type your email, because something got out of that open door in the bathroom mirror. The mail said he couldn't sleep. He was scared, exhausted, and didn't know who he was to ask. Something would get him very soon, if he won't figure anything out. He didn't know if it was related to the work he was doing. He didn't know how to drive away what had said in his house. He only knew what something enormously hungry was looking at him from the darkness. You know what I mean, right? Ethan knew. By the time he finished reading the letter, Ethan nobody knew what he should do. Eesh. Tough decision. But it does, to me, it almost seems like it might be somewhat similar to what he's going through. The critic didn't know if he had any relation to the work he was doing. But what about Ethan's work? Could this research shed light on what lay dormant in the dark and awaken it? Was it Ethan's avid curiosity or the question that teased his appetite? Which one was cursed, the chicken or egg? Ethan was angry. Angry as hell. He wanted to end it, all of it, once and for all. He wanted to face his fear, even if fear was no longer his own. Even if it was crawling through the wires and climbing the communication towers to breathe on its nauseous portion to hell. Ethan was angry, but also terrified. What he wanted to think was that the delicious took root and grew stronger as he tried to deceive himself. It wasn't as incorporeal as the email in his mailbox, yet in the same time as real. If they wanted to face the fear so that it would take shape in a name, a box in which that fear could fit, maybe then he could have dealt with it. However, Ethan got behind the wheel of his old sedan. He wasn't doing it for the rider who was tormented by shadows. He was doing it for himself. An email the critic described in detail how to find his house and how to get inside. Too much detail, as if he had already resigned to his fate. Something would get to him very soon, and he won't figure anything out. This is just a nose, Miss Harrison, a nose of life determination. This happens when you look into the abyss for too long. But looking is enough, is it? You shine a flashlight into it, those orange, and whistle frantically, like a window who managed to get into a abandoned house. I'm excited and terrified, and then only terror remains as you realize the door has slammed shut behind you and the hinge won't budge. The thought made Ethan speed up, and then just abruptly hit the brakes. The road let out a short, hysterical shriek. The car shrugged and stopped on the side of the road. The blood was pounding in his ears. Ethan's breath came in short gasps, his eyes shut from blinding in the dark. After calming down later, Ethan pretended. Who was he trying to fool? The night world was empty. He was examining his navigator, but there was but one thought in his head. What is he doing? What the heck is he doing? Seems like he asked it out loud. There was no one answer. It's not too late to turn back. Turn the car around, go back to Sage's apartment, lie down on the sofa, sleep until the morning comes. In the morning, he would call Hope again, and the door was cut short. Actually, it didn't lead anywhere from the very beginning. It dead end. Sure it was, he had no place or reason to go back. He wanted to go back to the past, and that task was beyond him or his old Toyota. In the present, he had nothing left but the gray road ahead and the decision to go. If he buried, if he hurried, he might still be able to help. The car slowly took off. The rest of the way, and there wasn't much left. Ethan was thinking about his acquaintance, or were they friends? Probably. You don't take a crutch for a journey at the bottom of the best of you. Ethan was thinking about his friend. How long had he been awake in particular? It had been. Ethan glanced at his phone and opened a glove box quite a long time. A month or so, just by the emails? How long can a person stay awake? The question followed his car silently. Even drove into Silvers and turned the car around at Steppy Road. The 25 miles per hour speed limit road sign at the bend of the road seemed as wide as no bone. Ethan turned down Sycamore Spring. The lawn in front of house 8 was overgrown with tall grass. So tall it hasn't been touched for how long can a person stay awake? Even though it was probably the rainy weather. He didn't remember much of the past week, but he was pretty sure about the rain. Even now, the ground was still damp with spring sheet underfoot. Yes, it must be the rain. Humidity makes grass grow faster. When he got out of the car, his shadow detached from the trees near the house. Ethan suffered and eased a moment later. The figure quickly walked away along the narrow concrete path, just a passerby. Ethan watched him go. The concrete beneath his boots gave way to gravel. Ethan walked past the spawn hemlock covered with roses of small white flowers. The bush reached up mid-eye. All the windows were dim, no light anywhere. The house stood a little off, dark, quiet, and still as the night itself, almost like the house was shimmering along its nose. For a moment, Ethan felt stupid and was about to turn back the car, but he stayed after all. He was invited. No, not that. He was called for help. Maybe he and his friend got a little too stressed, that's all. Induced delusion of the shoulder in all its glory. Maybe Ethan was desperate to be needed, so he jumped at the chance to be someone's hero. Perhaps his unfortunate friend had finally fallen asleep, and disturbing him was a bad decision of all. Well, Ethan was fine with that. He just wanted to make sure that it was okay. Ethan formally knocked on the door. No one answered. Neither time nor dirt. I don't skip. Ethan finally knocked on the door. No one answered. Neither the first time nor the third. No lights come in any of the rooms. I come on in any rooms. There was no sound behind the door. One of the windows was on the second floor was open. I wonder if this is the house of the guy that we played as at the beginning. It's a guess, but the second window is open too. Ethan moved away from the porch and tried to take a better look. No movement. The house was asleep, and its sleep resembled torpor. Ethan himself came to think he might be dreaming. But if two people shared the same dream, is it any different from reality? Slowly, as if that really was a dream, Ethan went to the flower tub the letter had mentioned and took the spare key from the hiding place. Just as slowly he returned to the door. The key rattled 3 times in the lock, and the door drifted inward from the darkness, into the darkness. At the top of the stairs, leading to a second floor, there sat a cat. Ethan tried to call out to it, but the cat didn't move, still watching him with bright, round eyes. Ethan plugged into the darkness of the home. The darkness and the stretch, which were almost one and the same hill. The smell, unbelievably thick, then swamped the house in a suffocating shroud. Ethan tried not to think about where it was coming from. Instead, he thought of Selene, or rather, her dark counterpart, Hecate. The ancient Greeks believed that she appears in the form of a dog. But dogs were sacrificed to her one day, by eternal lights. It was really, it was really better too, but Ethan couldn't gather enough courage to do it. Dogs are the natural enemy of cats. Light is the natural enemy of darkness. Life is the natural enemy of death. And what wish could be more natural than a wish to destroy your natural enemy? Ethan stumbled over something. He looked down. A hand was peeking out from behind the kitchen counter, black and swollen. Of course, Ethan would have seen more if he had a flashlight. Somehow, Ethan wasn't surprised, as if it's him and his friend, who had long ago resigned to his fate. You have received the notice of life termination. It's only dawned on them. Madness, curse, and the death are contagious. And this is not a Dark Age superstition, but an actual law of reality. Selene, Hecate, Artemis, madness, curse, and death. Here lies the accurate intro, as accurate as it gets. The intro has 3 faces, and he himself wished to look into each of them. A sound of glass breaking in the hall, but it wasn't a window collapsing. The light bulbs. Someone was smashing the light bulbs with a bat one by one. The sound was getting closer. Ethan closed his eyes. Good night. Okay, I got one of the endings. Okay, thank you to the last choice. Into the car. Don't feel good. I'm assuming there might be like a theme where there's like a lot of bad endings, and I just managed to kind of dodge some opportunity points. But let's don't. Shred broke out on his upper lip. Ethan closed his eyes. No. Ethan said it with full clarity. All the final words that came out of his mouth were more and more quiet until his lips moved slightly. No, I'm sorry. I can't help. I'm so sorry. He really was sorry. Sorry about his former life. Sorry for him said desperately to the point his stomach clenched with a painful spasm. Sorry for hope. Sorry for the poor rider who was being dragged deep into the cold vortex of darkness. But what could Ethan do against the darkness? He feared. Maybe he had the skill to get the inches required, but they were buried too deep. At that death, the water turned pitch black, and there were stains in the blackness. Ethan didn't name himself. Ethan didn't want to know. He took a deep breath as if he was actually about to dive. Then he deleted the email. The letter with the title untitled disappeared to the dark vortex. The frantic, terrified pleas for help were erased, leaving no trace, as if they had never existed. No, it's not like that. Hope was once told him it was a bad time for Ethan to record this. The information on the internet doesn't really disappear after you click delete. Most often it remains somewhere on the service, and you just lose access to it. You turn the mirror to the wall and pretend like it's your fancy. There was nothing wrong with the reflection. In that case, the silent scream didn't vanish. It was now trapped. Trapped where no one could hear it. I'm so sorry. Ethan covered his face with his hands. The mirror on the wall of Ethan's dark bathroom was reflecting a closed door. Ethan and Hope got an official divorce 3 months later. Oof, poor dude. They were together for a while, it seemed like, and it seemed like they loved each other. They never talked about everything that happens. But what did actually happen? Over time, the horrors you experienced got away from memory, fade, weaken, such are the defensive mechanisms of the human psyche. that that loves you and never stood silently at the head of your bed, clenching the pillow in his hands for some reason. When you were eight, Uncle Jeremy didn't take you behind the barn, didn't show you anything, or make you show anything. The grandfather's old wig does not and never has had any long spider legs. Ethan's psyche had normally suffered, but it was plain by the wall still. He wanted simple, coherent explanations, and he knew where to get them. Dr. Lowenstein wasn't island clear insanity and horrors, as Ethan had discovered, fade from memory much better if you break them down into phallic symbols. Ethan wished it started to OP sooner. Who knows, maybe most of that nightmare could have been avoided. The police never figured out what happened, but even the clumsy versions suited Ethan much better than what he remembered, what he allegedly remembered. Week after week, Ethan felt like he was gradually recovering. Of course, he had to give up his career as an independent consultant in favor of a more predictable office job, but at least he had the money for proper therapy. And at some point, a small incident happened. Dr. Stein introduced an electronic registration system. As it goes with electronic registration systems, something went wrong on the second or third week. It turned out that 3 people had an appointment in the same time slot. Mr. Crans, Mr. Harrison, Mrs. Mills. The meeting felt awkward at first, but the tension faded surprisingly quickly. But mutual agreement, Mr. Crans was the first to go to Dr. Stein's office. Ethan and Hope were left alone on the couch. They were both smiling, a little tense, but overall happy. Since they met like that, they decided to go out for a coffee and talk about various things, because they haven't spoken in a long time. Then at some point they decided to hold hands. The next day, they were hardly keeping their eyes open, because they only managed to sleep for a total of 3 hours. And that was inevitable, as in a relationship you always have to sacrifice something.
Who was that?
So what, did they get a divorce and they get back together? I mean, it's not something that does happen before. But it does say they haven't talked in a long time, so it depends how long. 3 months later they got a divorce, so if it was like 2-3 years it makes sense, but it kind of just happens. Hope leaned over the arm of the sofa and looked at Ethan curiously. He shrugged. A literary agency, one of the few I haven't disgraced myself in front of yet. They're looking for enough of a born guy to be their historical consultants. The working schedule is something about a whole day and most of the night, 7 days a week.
So what did they say?
That I'm happily employed office work and I heartily enjoy cooler water.
Are you serious? Ethan, don't be silly. We both know this is your true calling. I understand this kind of work takes a lot of time, but you could quit the office job and...
I could, but I don't want to. It's my turn to bring the men to the cave. What about your calling? I know well enough how hard you work to make this startup of yours thrive. Who will make a homeless cat tender if not you?
Well, actually, there is quite a variety of animals in our database. You'd be surprised. Recently, someone has booked a mini pig.
A mini pig? Like an actual pig but portable?
Yeah. Well, kind of. The mini part stands for 100 pounds instead of a good 600. People get crazy over cute piglet photos and think this is it, but in reality, wait a minute. Don't try to change the subject.
I didn't even think about it. Hope signed, Farnan.
I don't want you to give up on your dream.
I'm not giving up on anything. And anyway, I do understand that Miss Mills won't marry an ordinary office clerk, but I have a plan.
Oh, come on.
A sofa cushion slapped against Ethan's cheek. Hope tried her best to look serious, but she was too pleased to pull it off. Besides, she was born with curiosity.
What's the plan?
I'm writing a book on mythology.
Wow. So now you're not only a popular history consultant, but also a talented writer. Guess I'll start getting used to that thought.
Ethan grinned. Something of that sort, yes.
And what's your future bestseller about?
It seemed to Hope, just for a brief moment, that Ethan's eyes became round and shining pools of black nacre. The Catholic gods of ancient Greece. Blue lights or two. Do you want to go back? Okay, first of all, let's check this. Happy Dreamlands. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you lose on earth will be loosed in heaven. The hands is Sim show. What do you do when you feel lonely? I don't feel lonely. What do you do when you feel lonely? I don't feel lonely. What do you do when you feel lonely? Something bad happened to you actually again. What do you do? Oh, told you. Okay. We welcome your stay for a moderate price. The light from a single source is split with a half a shivered mirror. The results of beams are each reflected by a series of mirrors. We expect them to combine at some point. I'm not saying it's safe, all I'm saying is... Sorry. All I'm saying is we are resolving the experiment. Fear not the devil but the God, for he walks among us and his eyes are hungry. How many are these, are there? There are mirrors behind mirrors and doors behind doors, some of them not like the other. Okay. April 24th. Nobody came to my birthday party except for my friends and Timo. Mom said I would get real friends around Mordor. My friends are real, but still, I love to have someone to hang out with. I just have to wait for a bit. Okay. Let's go back to the last choice. Yeah, well, okay. So what I need to do is let's my minuets, yes.
Selene.
Or starts. And then we'll just do a whole lot of skips. Have you seen it before? Actually, is this even a part I've seen before? Okay. There we go. Just Leho in is refused. This isn't his house. Maybe he pays for it, but it's not his home. And even if this was his house, would anything have changed? It's easy to put the blame on the landlady. The landlady would have a fit, and he would have to find a new hole to call in and forget about the deposit too. But was she the real problem? No. The real problem was that she couldn't even take care of himself. Taking care of someone else is a much bigger task, even if it's just for one night. No, I'm sorry. I can't let you in. She must have shaken her head dry, but he thought she nodded. I understand. When the door clicked, it felt like a ping again. Did he do the right thing? He had no answer. I should have put some bedding for her on the porch, he thought, but a sudden wave of fatigue swept him off the feet. He somehow made it to the living room and just collapsed on the couch. The body, too light and too heavy, fell through the upholstery fabric and felt layer. The wall compressed springs to window for him. He kept falling and falling into the pitch blackness until it closed over him like a smooth dome. He wasn't dreaming. He wasn't dreaming. Okay, so this took me straight back to that choice. Okay. June 11th. Had a really weird dream today. Hope is okay. I'll go and look for him. I should have closed the door window. Okay, so let's lay her in. Then we'll start skipping this dialogue. Doesn't matter. Never mind, this can wait. The cat's fur wasn't very long, but it was fluffy enough to hide her sunny sides. He was once again surprised at how skinny she was. He was even more surprised when he noticed the color of her small locket. So you do have a home. In that case, you always have some owners, I must say. The cat curled up on a wet towel in his lap, slowly dozing off. He could feel the familiar lone vibe emerge inside her. Suddenly he put the towel with the cat on it away. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up with a type of dignity none he could handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy and unwieldy. He had to give the cat something to eat. He would lie down afterwards and then, heck, maybe he would even fall asleep. Maybe he should have gotten a cat from much earlier. Don't mind me. I'm here to collect the tomato soup. No, why, it doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. After all, there was no point in this grudge from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges. The game not like that choice? Doesn't matter. He wasn't sleeping, but his house was, and its lullaby was woven with one single word. Concern for what? Okay, this is new text, okay. At times, something scratched inside the walls, and he became sensitive to such stains when he could not sleep for a long time. Faced with these symptoms, the last time he took his flashlight and some stick, and then circled the house for a long time, tapping it walls here and there. He had no idea how to deal with rats. At least that's what he thought to remember how his mother used to handle this. After the team had finished, poison became the weapon of choice when it came to dealing with rats. The kind that should be kept away from small children and pets. I remember this. He went on to the hardware store and filled the cart with colorful packages. Then he duly strewed the whole house with bright, deadly pellets that crunched under his feet when he went to the coffee. After a while, the sound stopped. Yeah, he could hear them again now. Something was scratching. It's been a long time, so no wonder. Those pests always come back. That's what his mother would say. And this time he agreed for completely on the matter. He considered his options. He had no push left and he could not go out to restock. He was completely immersed in his work. And although he was now much closer to the end of his script in its beginning, there was still much to be done. Although he couldn't sleep, he still could work, and it would be stupid to lose pace just to go shopping. Besides, he now had a cat. He didn't really own her, of course, but she came to see him, and he always made sure that she ate well. He had to care about her safety. No, poison was not an option. Of course, he considered asking the cat to do the job, but every time she came, the thought completely vanished from his mind. He had other They were to talk about. He was told he told her a lot about his work, and sometimes read what he wrote, and sometimes read what he wrote. The cat really gave any comments, but never refused to listen. He liked that about her. Not only that, of course, take a simple example. She smelled the warm fuel of dust up the street. This may sound simple, but the smell made his heart ache with sadness and unbearable love. It was the smell of a warm June night in which Tima had vanished, and, and also many, many beloved cats before and after him. This cat, however, was special. He could feel it, although he couldn't articulate, couldn't find the right words. Well, why are you all if you can't find the words? That's what he would say if he was talking to himself. But he never did such things, even if he couldn't sleep for a long time. At least you can walk, said the computer screen, flickering in the dark. But he couldn't, so at the moment, he heard the thing again. Something scratched, and this time the sound was different. That's you can skip, okay. He swung around and looked behind him, then swallowed hard, staring into the darkness. Suddenly, his head cleared up. Something's coming, said the computer screen. Careful, said the flat white ceiling lamp. It should be downstairs, said the crumbled bed. Downstairs. The first floor was dark, buried in slumber just like the rest of the house. There's no point in turning on the light if you're going to stay in the same room. Trying all night and all morning and all day and all on next night too, unless of course the cat comes. Even if he had to go out, he knew that was perfectly real. Even bother with it. He needs no light to get anywhere he wanted. That's why he won't turn the lights, so the one who scratches won't know that he knows. He decided so as he went down the stairs entirely. Downstairs was quiet. He listened to the sounds for a few minutes, but it sounded unconvincing. If something had started scratching, it won't go away that easily. He knew that for sure. Those parts always come back. He had it almost there somehow. With the bat, for example. He still haven't put the bat away, so he was lying somewhere in the dark living room, having a Bible. All he had to do was reach it before the one who scratches gets back to his work. As he passed the kitchen, a prickly shiver went through him, as if someone was looking at him from the darkness of the room, or was the room itself watching him? Either way, he knew better than to turn and peer into the dark maw of the entrance. If he dares, something will come out. Something he doesn't want to know about. He found the bat under the dresser, and just in time, because the next moment he wouldn't have been able to move. Something was scratching in the walls, a new disgusting sound that had nothing to do with rats. To be more precise, the new sound could have not anything to do with a living being. A painful spasm passed through his body. He clenched as if someone had hit him in the gut, and then he did something stupid. Stop it. Please stop. I can't take it anymore. But the nightmares don't end just because you ask politely or because you really can't do it anymore. I felt like the voice didn't belong to him. Of course the voice was his own, but he certainly would have never done something like that. He never talked to the one who scratches. Oh, okay. He'd probably heal not bear it if there was any visible traces left, but there was none. Only the screech here and there, as if something was trying to strength on the bone, looking around for something. Look for him. He regretted speaking out loud many, many times. It would have been better if he died quietly right there. That would have solved so many problems. He was leaning against the back of the sofa and quiet whimper when it was silent, as suddenly as if begun. For a while he continued sitting crooked like a giant fetus, hugging his knees in his back, and only moved when he really believed that everything had calmed down. At the very moment the round metal handle on the back door began to shrivel. He didn't immediately realize where the sound was coming from. The soft rattle of manual glass, but he had a clue. The transparent glass on the back door was closed by a thin polka dotted curtain. They had trembled and ridden with the sounds. Then the house got quiet again. Some voice, the same one that beckoned to the windows on high floors, called him to look behind that polka dotted curtain. He knew just one look would be enough to make him lose his mind, but the call was too hard to resist, and he hadn't slept for too long. Slowly, if half asleep, he made his way to the door. He could see the pattern clearly now, so close it was. Small dots, each one quivering with a silent cry. Do not look. Do not look. Do not look. He yanked the curtain aside and stared into the darkness with the eyes of a man facing a truck moving at full speed. Of course, there was no one at the door. After that, he decided to always keep the bat nearby. You never got over it, did you? Can I skip?
Is something wrong?
Okay, so it still keeps the cat was lying on his lap. It had been a long time since her last visit, much longer than he would have liked. I don't know. Something's happened to me, and it's not insomnia. As if I'm missing something. As if something is missing inside of me. I can't explain it well enough, but maybe you know what I mean. The cat was staring at nothing in silence. Something only cats can do right. Do you believe in
Why
ghosts?
would you ask?
I think I've wondered something I can't quite explain. The cat was silent for a while.
Maybe. It is a matter of perspective.
What do you mean?
That which you've lost, those who you've lost. The number gets bigger over time. The struggle is not to become a ghost yourself. Before time, I mean.
Something tied in his throat.
I didn't want to upset you. I really didn't.
I don't want to lose you. Is it possible? The cat looked at him for a long moment, and her purpose only large looked at as black as the moonless night.
Scratch my ear, alright? I'll sing you the best song.
I like all of your
I know,
songs.
but I'll sing the best one.
He ran his hands through the warm, thick field that smelled of dust and something sweet. The cat was smiling at him, lying in his arms. He could feel, with all his being, the vibrations of another very different world as they were low in his body. Next day, he heard the one who scratches right beneath his window. Before the open window on the second floor, to be precise, beneath. At the moment, he was struggling with a tough scene near the door's ending. Imagine things is quite common if you haven't slept for a while and did a good job on burning out. You think you're hearing things like if someone is quietly sloping in the far corner of the room, just beyond where your eye can see. Precise, beneath. At the moment, he was struggling with a tough scene near the door's ending. Imagine things is quite common if you haven't slept for a while and did a good job on burning out. You think you're hearing things like if someone is quietly sloping in the far corner of the room, just beyond where your eye can see. Or for instance, as if it's scratching the wall and breadcrumbs are getting stuck under its nails, and it's climbing higher and higher. He realized it could all be in his head, so he took his hands off the keyboard and listened carefully, just in case. It could be that nothing was actually scratching. But his body already knew what was going on. It became cold and stiff and acted like a house wall. Oh yeah, boy, you do hear it. Why, of course you hear it. Why would it be any difference? After all, the one who scratches finally smelled you and now it won't back off. And that's when his nervous tick came in. What to do they will. He had to hold his breath to keep back the morsel of hysterical giggles and sobs trying to burst out of his chest. If they had escaped, this he knew that would have been the end of him. And otherwise he still had a chance. A pretty solid one. if he manages to push the tick, that is. When the text doesn't work out, just look away from the screen and wait a little. The tick will subside by itself. But what about the case when the one who scratches is keeping up on the wall higher and you can't hear its nails? And it's got oh so many of them, leaving tiny growths in the house's cladding. They are very sharp, those nails. His mind always had fitting prayers waiting for every occasion. I'm gonna do a save. Outdated. I don't know what that person means because I'm farther, like I have a file for much farther in the story, or that's supposed to be novice. Like the game's supposed to be like, yeah, I know I'm in the game. But this time, this wasn't a moment you think of. Actually, I tried and do something this time. Even the mother would take it by surprise. She'll probably have to consult a new prodigy form, as this case sure needs professional opinion. Something like, greetings. My boy hasn't been sleeping for a month or so, and it always started to get out of hand. He sits in a dark room all day writing his stupid scribbles. I don't know why he got into this head that he can write, because all of these years in business he still has neither a name nor connections. You know what I mean? And besides, she was always fond of embarrassing him before we get to the point. Besides, he gets an often over sick when the one who scratches crawls up on the window to scratch a hole in his stomach. What prey would you find appropriate for the occasion? He's not really going to hit the steam with a bazzy. My baby boy won't hurt a fly. He has no guts for that. The first thing he did when the days had worn off was grabbing the bat. Then he pushed himself against the wall by the window, and that was all he could do, for the nails were always scratching very close still. I'm coming for you, little whiny boy with no guts. I'm going to scratch a hole in your belly to see if I can find them. He didn't want to see what was under the sill. He waited before to die and look at it. The nail struck the sill. He knew there was black marks on it and some shavings got under the nails. Maybe some of those nails got broken, but the one who was scratched doesn't kill. It's got oh so many of them. He stared straight ahead. His teeth were clenched, and saliva bubbled in the corners of the parted mouth. He was weeping without a sound, choking on the side of the screen. He wasn't really going to hit the steam of a bat, was he? Something began to climb over the sill. He tried not to look, yet he could see it. What is that? Something akin to squishy fingers or guts with lots of nails that grew on top of each other like clamshells. In the moonlight, he saw tufts of fuel glistening on those finger guts, just like a rat's tail. Then he realized your names. Firstly, he got an insight on Timo's gifts. The thing is, his old cat constantly brought him something to play. Those mobile deans of unconditional love, so he thought back then, but now figured out. Though he had been secretly throwing out the window in the middle of the night with dead mice. Those were small fragments, tiny pieces of the hideous fingers of the one who scratches. Look, master, the nightmare was wonderful. I drove it away. I thought I bought you a piece of flesh, which means you can sleep safely tonight. That's what the cat thought when its owner went for Timo's knobbly scrubbered head. And secondly, he realized, with rather clearly, this was the thing that those cats into the darkness of summer nights from which they never returned. The thing that took Timo away. And now it's come for Selene. He stopped weeping, but he was breathing fast, too fast, drawing air through bare teeth. Inside, he was blowing rage. He wasn't really going to hit the steam of a bat, was he? He was. Dang, why he was. He turned his head slowly and stared, eyes wide open, without blinking, as the glittering flash crumbled over the sail. He was waiting. He felt sick. He decided he would drop later. Right after he turns the thing into a bloody mess. I know you. You won't get her. You won't get anyone. The sound that came out of his throat didn't resemble words, but that was exactly what he said. He charged he charged at the dean and thrashed it. He smashed its fingers, guts, trails, or whatever it was, and the bat seemed lighter than a feather. He had never been particularly strong, but all this being became pure will, with the bat as point of application. Blood, these shreds kept busting and spilling around as he smashed and smashed and smashed. He paid no heed to the nearest that were trying to get him, tearing his clothes, tearing his skin. He didn't care, he didn't even feel anything. Any but decided to wipe that dean off to face it off. To smash it out of reality if he had to. Finally, the corpse crumbled in his shoulder, slid off the window frame, collapsing down. It was over. The blood-soaked bats slipped out of his hands and rolled across the floor, leaving a long black wet smell. He wouldn't have been able to lift it. He was barely standing on his feet, and drool mixed with blood went down his face. He didn't want to look down because he would feel the wet heat spreading out around his stomach. He knew where that was going. He stumbled to the bed and fell onto his back. A hoarse, gurgling breath came out of his mouth. More than anything, he wanted the cat to come. Everybody loves tomato soup. Tomato soup is Devil's favorite food. It reminds me of home. Elijah doesn't like tomato soup. Everybody loves tomato soup. Okay. That was that one. One of his eyes were badly damaged by the fall, but Mr. Bench was not too worried about it. He died a few hours ago. Before that happened, he grew up with something whitish, and the vomit was still forming on his cheek, which seemed cheap strawberry yogurt because of some blood mixed to it. The police was informed about it, the corpse. Not the fact that Mr. Bench couldn't hold his dinner and got his pencil dirty by Miss Coa, a neat old lady who lived nearby and for the last decade never woke up later than 5 in the morning. But the first one to notice the body was the cat. She looked like purebred British short hair in all respects except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray hair, it seems as she was dropped into a vat of white paints while her lower part was dipped into a black one. As she passed by Mr. Ben, she smelled the air from a few meters away, more cautious than interested. Under no different circumstances, she might have actually been interested in him, but the cat always had a special someone. She soared upstairs, stabbing her Milky White claws into the bulk of the tall tree. The few above the muscles on his back stood on ends. In a few leaps, she reached the ledge and disappeared in the dark gap at the open window on the second floor. He could barely breathe at the time, but when the cat came back, he felt better, much better.
What have you done?
I was defending. I wanted to save you. I wanted to save us
You
both.
fool.
That's right. But I just can't lose you.
It's too late.
He wanted to object, say something trivial like, it's never too late as long as they're both alive, but he could not. The cat clung to him with the tight body, sticking her lips to his. He suddenly realized she wasn't, in fact, skinny, more wiry and quite strong. The next moment he felt his flesh turn apart, and it tore easily, as quite some time had already passed. Just with that, everything finally fell into place. He had read about it in some magazine. For cats and many house ones, if their owners pass away, aren't above eating human flesh if they manage to reach it. But cats are very discerning, careful. Having chosen the corpse, the cat remains faithful to it until it's stripped to the bone. Taking this into account, and also the number of empty sleeping pills, can't say, well, good God, there were so many of them. There was a single conclusion to make. He died quite some time ago. It turns out that the pills failed him once again. The same was swinging back and forth, swaying him like a killing murder swings a cradle. That's when he finally noticed it was the kitchen, and he was not lying in bed but on the floor. Some vague sounds were coming from outside the room, which grew more and more persistent over time. If he knew about Miss Coe's particular discovery, he would have probably guessed that the police were already breaking down this door. The cat hurriedly stuffed her mouth, choking swallowing pieces without even chewing them. He didn't mind. After all, a cat that has no home should eat well, wouldn't she? Although he got rid of the one who scratches the street, it's still full of dogs evil people. Even his mother will agree, and his mother never ever agreed with him. And yet, he still had one question to ask. Say, did you love me? Even a little? For a moment, the cat took a pause with her task and looked him in the eyes. Her body was quivering. A delirious flap of flesh that could to a piece of one fat was trimming her long, sharp teeth.
I do.
He breathed in her scent for the last time. The smell filled dust up the street. The smell of carrion. Jeez. And the chart it's one of those things where that I don't know which is the canon ending because the, because of how it does it. um Normally when you play a game of multiple choices, there is for sure a route that the game wants you to take place. Um, Even if they have like a different route that kind of leads to something else, there is definitely a route that takes place that you should follow. This one I don't know. Um, and I don't know. That was a pretty impactful one. That one I'm gonna assume the Kingdom of Hope and everything was more because that was like a lot longer. But that one was actually more impactful to me, at least at the beginning. And the way she was like eating him, pretty much, I was like, "What's she doing? Why is she doing that?" But then they quickly explained that, you know, when someone they love dies, aka Master, they would eat that person. So he must have died somehow, but came back to life. I don't know. 7/15th. J stands for Jook. Though a stuffed cat to school and left it on my desk. He thinks it's funny. They all think it's funny. I hate everyone. Okay. Okay. Should I assume because I did this? What do we save here? I'll probably over did save here one time. Yeah, I think that might be because of the choices I picked. This is the natural one, but these ain't. Okay, so from what I can see is I can't load back my other save because it's outdated. So let's start a new one. My fourth guide threw me the blue flames. Go for it. Okay, that's new. Okay, so let's lay her in. Wait, wait. I can't refuse. Maybe some dreams of light fade away. Okay. Doesn't matter. Do this. I believe we have met before. This one is just focus on the name. And then this is where we get heal. Forget it. Come on, maybe you left the keys on the table somewhere?
I always leave my keys when I'm in the office. But I'm pretty sure there's no cat burglars.
Okay, so just... There's a lot of text. Okay, Ethan didn't want morning to come. He didn't want to wake up, to see a hidden grudge in Hope's eyes, so listen to the awkward silence and seize every opportunity to say a word to break it. But morning did come. The evening wasn't for surprise. Everything was fine. Very much so. Hope got up early to make a superior breakfast, the kind Ethan was never able to cook, even when he really wanted to. She was talking to him. She was joking. She listed at least 10 places they would go where the sketch would become more relaxed. The nightmare seemed to be over. Okay, so... Oh, the hills. That's what you're talking about. I mean, I don't mind, but... You sure you want to change the color just because of the delivery guy?
A delivery guy?
Yes. I sometimes order food. I've had a lot of dark-haired delivery guys lately.
Fascinating. And what were all those delivery guys doing in our bathtub?
I... I don't know. I don't know, Hope. Maybe I got distracted? Couple of times, maybe? You know, if I get a call from aides, yeah, I switch immediately. Hope there's an explanation with an unreadable expression. At least that gassy smile was going. Ethan felt a bit better. Maybe the curie was prying around the apartment while I was distracted? God, why did I think of that? Maybe that's why my stuff keeps on disappearing?
Who knows?
Hope smiled bitterly.
At least we found out it wasn't a cat. Huh.
Ethan felt like all the skin above the collar filled with heat and began to throw up. Guess I still can't do that. Membranes, valves, witch films, yellow bones. You know, it's shiny just like baby jelly. Porcelain and contracted, trembling. Ethan closed his eyes involuntarily, as if he could squeeze a vision out of him.
Ethan? Are you okay? You look, bad.
At least there's no mockery in her voice. Yes. No. Ethan leaned on the table and wiped his face with his hand, stretching the skin. And even rested in place where they get very close to the warm, red upholstery. He clenched his teeth and slapped his cheeks. The razor finally disappeared. No, everything's not okay. Not okay at all. So I hope, but I don't know what to do about it. And that was true.
Is there anything you want to tell me?
Ethan shook his head. If I knew what I wanted to say, I would have said it already. I should just call the police and let them sort it out. It's their job after all. I'm tired of all of this. Hope sign.
I'm tired too, Ethan. And it's not even the end yet.
What?
It's not the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps I should start sorting things out now. Otherwise, there'll be no business for me when the paycheck arrives.
Hope got up, shortly as if hesitantly.
All right. I have to go. I'll be back late.
See you tonight. Hope waved her hand weakly. When the door shut behind her, Eddie stood still for some time, listening to the high-pitched tinnitus and think of nothing. It said either too light or too heavy for his body. And he felt the small hairs on his neck standing up. Someone was looking at the back of his head. Ethan turned around slowly. I'm kinda pleased. Okay. Which one's that pick? I think I picked this one. You go pull lean finger with a neat black nail to her lips, while the fingers of her other hand shaped the figure of a man. She pointed at the figure with her eyes. Ethan felt sick of the farce that was happening. He thought he should call the cops immediately, the hand clutching the phone continued to hang limply. The finger man looked around and started walking along the window slope with his finger legs. One, two, three. Then something else happened. The finger doesn't see where it was. Next moment, finger man was walking on the sill, and the girl was making it with one hand. Then she smiled widely and put both palms on her chest. She looked absolutely happy.
I was invited.
Suddenly, she cast a gloomy look at Ethan. Her black eyes gave a cold glimmer.
It's really rude to come in without an invitation.
A moment later, the girl reached for something behind her back, quickly poured it to her lips and took a sip. Ethan's throat became tight with blood that abruptly rushed to his head. Well, how did you get this? The girl traced Ethan's gesture with a genuinely surprised look, and the next moment she parted her fingers. Don't come. She was stopped by now. He will force some sense to show her. Ethan rushed to the window. He was going to grab the girl's arm and drag her deeper into the room. Maybe he would have clenched his shoulder much harder than necessary. Maybe he would have given her a hearty shake before releasing her. And even to stay a frenzied rage, he did not intend to punish her. Let the police do it. It's her job after all. Moreover, he wasn't going to get on top of her with a short body pressing her against the glass, but he did just that. Ethan feared to see how this happens. It was as if someone rolled the clock forward in the midst of stretch of time, replaced the thing he intended to do. All he knew, his right hand always clenches the naked boob of the thing, and his left is propped up against the glass. Behind the glass, far below, was hope. Ethan saw her face. He would give his all for a chance not to see it, but it seemed like someone lent him a pair of deed or binoculars against his will. Ethan saw Hope's blue eyes turn glassy and her mouth open as if she wanted to say something, but she couldn't find the words. You little. He did not even have to pull his pants to lift up the hem of her dress. This happened as if by itself. When he finished, Hope was gone. His shallow, frantic breath shook his chest and just wouldn't come down. Ethan was crying, sadly without tears, and then the girl's neck turned counterclockwise, clenched all the while. Ethan had a momentary thought he hallucinated. At this very moment, the girl's neck twisted again, and again, and again. Oh, what is she? The girl laughed, and he saw her white smile right for him, though she was still lying belly down on the windowsill. His hand was no longer covering his mouth. Ethan saw that teeth, long and sharp. Her bones crunched, her head spun, just like sorry, that image is getting like a little terrifying for me on the camera, and her faces was switching out one after another. Granted, all of them. It's like the picture slightly changing every time, just catching me off guard. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, got thinking, nauseating. It just staggered. He knew he would either vomit or pass out, and wasn't sure what would come of it until the moment the monster's black destroyed him all. When he woke up, the Harper creature's gone, and as soon as Ethan's microphone skinny got out, she did not answer. Ethan thought he could come to her office, but eventually decided what would make things worse. Okay. Oh, what changed? The jelly turned really bad. Okay, that was like it. Okay, that's all that was. Okay. Whoops. Evening didn't lie to the waiter. He really was fine. Maybe not the same minutes before, but the gears in his head was starting to move again. When he got home, Mr. Mears had already left. So now he'd even. Okay. Let's enter the sign. Okay, he must. Something that said in his house. His skin covered in cold goosebumps. He could feel the eyes again focus on a single point on the back of his head. Something was watching him. He tried to forget to past to convince himself that nothing was happening, but something was looking at him and it wasn't a matter of belief. The signs in his ears was a thin twinkling note. He was watching. Nathan jumped on his feet, frantically looking around. A short, desperate cry came from his chest, and his eyes with a bulge of mesh of bush cavities opened wide. There was none behind him, none but a black voided room, but he couldn't trust it. Ethan knew he wasn't alone. God Almighty was alone. Ethan wiped his mouth, a long wet smear appeared on his sleeve and muffled his hair. The skin on the back of his neck was scalding cold. Ethan was afraid, but what was he afraid of? He tried to think coherently to crumble his formless, unfathomable material into a single image, but couldn't. He was afraid of the shadows of the unfamiliar smelled apartment, of those thoughts that flattered in his head like trapped moths. He was afraid of what he might say out loud if he tried to speak to the dark emptiness of the room. Ethan suddenly saw the white dress helm swaying in the still, wax-like air, the weapon flesh of the membrane, the curtains at the open window, the death shroud. He remembered the terrible ghosts and what he had to do. It was suffocating. He sank to the floor. Was he afraid of the white dress wrath? Yes. But the fear was deeper, bigger, and the source of it was Israel. This was not the cause, but one of the effects. The dark moon swayed before his eyes. It was intelligent, alive. Ethan could smell its foul breath. He has to go. He has to find the house from the letter. Maybe then he'll find interest. Maybe the two of them will figure out what way to escape. Ethan crossed the threshold of the apartment. The hardest thing was not the one. He found the right street with no trouble at all. I think, yeah, because it skipped, because there's a lot of dialogue of him like going up to the street, and this time I just went straight to that. The roads in this part of the suburb formed a simple, clear scheme, so he didn't need any help. Still, Ethan desperately wanted to pull up in front of a little house with the lights still on. Went up on the porch, knocked on the door, and ask. Accidentally, Ethan shrugged with the right door and kept driving. House number 8 was hidden behind the trees. Call from the neighbors by a wide lawn. Heck, you can't call this a lawn anymore. And grass crept into the cracks in the driveway. It had taken root there in thick wafts. Among the weeds on the lawn, wild mint stood in its leaves drowsily, just as if an enormous hand torn out a patch from one of the fields Ethan was driving by on his way here, and left it in the middle of the sleepy street as a prank. The night outside Ethan's car was fresh and cool. This and the white shift cleared his head a bit, but now he was sinking back into sticky uneasiness. When he got out of the car, he slammed the door loudly so that the house would know he wasn't scared. But of course he was. He was scared as heck and still didn't know what he was afraid of. Ethan went on to the porch and stood at the steps for a moment, looking at the front door. Then he walked around the house. There were no lights in any of the windows. Now I'll go back to my car and get out of here. But Ethan didn't do anything like that. Instead, he went up to a porch and after a moment's thought, put aside the flower pot the lady mentioned. He'll just check things up and that's it. The spare key was in place. He won't go inside. It's a small check. The key turned in the lock. It all went incredibly slow as if Ethan was terrified of what he was doing, and he was. Just A burst of sharp pain bore in the back of his head. The door, the key, and the hand that held it faded into crimson blackness. Ethan was seeing a terrible dream. He was back in my room with Hope. Hope sat on the faded red sofa, her hands clasped in her lap. Her eyes were staring into nothing. Ethan thought Hope wasn't seeing him again, but she was. Hope looked up at him with her blue eyes, and in weird horror, Ethan realized how much pain there was in them.
She had the key, Ethan. All this time, she had the key. She has all the keys.
Who Ethan wanted to ask, but didn't have time, because Hope wasn't there anymore. Only her head kept laying on the sofa, severed, oozing blood from the stump of the neck. Suddenly, the head moved. Ethan tried to scream, but he couldn't, as he had no mouth. All he could do was watch Hope's two for severed head slowly turning towards him, looking for him with dry, glassy eyes. Watch the black snakes moving in her hair, and a mess of yellow wet interest spin out of the ripped gut of the sofa. Ethan tried to scream again. The abhorrent vision faded. But the eyes remained, Hope's empty, lifeless eyes. Though the tight arm pain, Ethan didn't realize right away that he was actually seeing them. Hope sat opposite of him, pale in the moonlight. Both of them were in the same room. Ethan reached for with all his being, but he couldn't move. He was real tired. Hope's hair was light and long again. Is that a wig? The thought was out of place, almost ridiculous.
Ethan, why did you do this? Why did you do all of this?
He might have believed that she really needed an answer, if not for a tightly rolled gag in his mouth.
Now I have to kill you. I have to. Do you understand?
This is like so out there. This is like completely. I made a couple choices, but this is like a completely. It's outdated. I don't like the outdated Dean. I don't know why they do that. They should be able to load the same because I can't load this back. She sobbed.
But first I have to confess something. I read your email. After what happened at the window, I just couldn't help it. I found this address in one of the emails. Her address.
Oh, please. It's not what you think. But all that came out of Ethan's throat was a grunt.
Shh. Don't strain yourself. You have a wound on your head, and if you strain yourself, you may lose consciousness. I haven't told you everything yet. It's important for me to share. Laura says it helps. I don't know. Does it help, Ethan?
Another sob.
I parked nearby and waited. Waited for so long. I knew you were coming, sooner or later. I saw her come and go, and you weren't there. I was beginning to doubt it, but you did come. You are here.
Hope smiled, yet her eyes remained blank.
I'm so tired. You may hate me for it, but I had to confess. It's not an easy task for me, you know. I hate lying.
So if I pick the windowsill again, but she's gonna kill me because I show up. But if I choose not to show up, then will everything be fine? Because she would never kill me.
Oh, I'm sick of myself, Ethan. Why does it have to end like this?
Ethan didn't have an answer.
My problem is that I can't lose. I never learned to. I tried, Ethan. Tried so hard. But this is stronger than me. You know, when I was a little girl, My dad took me to the pool. I couldn't swim, and he wanted us to go kayaking together. I had those cute inflatable armbands, oh, with tiny bear cubs on them. Can you imagine?
Again, the terrible glassy smile.
And so the lesson ended, and I still had no idea what I was supposed to do. But I couldn't let my daddy down. So I kept floundering in the pool until my lips turned blue. The coach had to literally pull me out of the water. Oh, but I think I haven't changed since then. Not a bit. I have to be number one, always. The best. One and only. I can't have it any other way. Do you follow me, Ethan?
There wasn't even a hint of hatred in the way she looked, the way she spoke, and that's what filled Ethan with mesmerizing and crippling dread. Hope loomed over him, the pipe in her hands, so close that Ethan could see the was scabs clearly.
I'm scared, Ethan. I'm terribly, awfully scared.
She ran her hand gently over his cheek.
I love you.
You don't have to do this, Hope. Ethan would have said if he only could, but she had to. Hope screeched as if she had to squash an ugly bug and brought the Hope down to her skull with a clutch. Then once more. She repeated the simple action until her husband's head turned into a nursing yellow wind mass. Her father, who was a doctor, would probably have called it a homogeneous because there certainly were quite large fragments of bone left in it. No matter how hard Hope tried to put a quick end to it, she was just an ordinary girl. She did what she could, replacing the lack of ability with effort. When she finished, Hope put the pipe down next to the body. She wanted to wipe off the blood and all the rest, but that wouldn't be wise. The pipe was the murder weapon after all. Then Hope turned on her phone and made it all the necessary calls. She confessed to what she had done and all the details, yet she had left some things out. In the era of sex skinners, she wanted her husband to be remembered as Ethan Harrison, who truly loved history, not Ethan Harrison, who cheated on his poor wife. After all, she really did love him. Kevin what was left of her husband with a cream-colored coat, Hope felt exhausted, and she still had to take care of herself. To her shame, the part of the plan Hope didn't dig through. Suddenly, she remembered there was a window on the second floor. The thought was simple, clean, almost joyous, and did not quite belong to her. Something in the house seemed to take pity on her and gave her a clue. The window was open, and there was a lot of trusty cables in the room upstairs, which was convenient, as her body became too heavy as if made of stone, and everything took great effort. At the very last moment before both her feet were in the air, Hope thought she might survive herself for a long time before it was over. But it was over soon enough. So she offed herself. Eef. Okay, so I'm going back to last choice and don't interfere. I think this should be the last ending. Because I think I've gotten all six. Shred broke out her open lip and looked his eyes. No, he didn't say it was formed clearly. All the foreign words that came out of his mouth were more and more quiet to his listeners suddenly. Okay. Ethan Hope got a fish in the voice 3 months later. They never talked about everything that happened. Ethan thought he would at least find the strength to apologize for all the lies Hope had suggested to, but it didn't happen. He likes to give us his decision, though deep down he knows the truth. It just passed for history, suddenly faded away. He could never imagine this would happen, nor could he have imagined he would turn to work in the office. His days are filled with routine and smart chores, like the fact that It's 6:30 p.m. already and his workday is over. It's comforting, or at least it does the pain. At times, Ethan goes out to the bar with his coworkers to discuss the quarter's workload and celebrate the fact it's Friday at last. Ethan's office is located on Squirrel Park, right past the massive bridge. Sometimes on the way home, Ethan stops on the bridge and stares at the dark water below. Okay, so the best ending to me seems to be the one where what's it? Well, they get a divorce, but then they seem to get back together. Happy Dreamland. Fear me and thou shalt before. The food is strong and bitter to the taste. This is the food, this is the drink. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. Say so. You don't have to do this. Indistinct. What's your Wonderland? How to build a snowman. It begins with a core and application points. You will need material to harvest and it might prove difficult. If you minutes, however, the fruit of your labor may be plentiful. Behold the absolute ceaseless manifestation. Blue Light Hotel. The blue light as blue as it gets. This happened, yes, around 5 a.m. I was standing right there making a sandwich. I toast some peanut butter and the jelly, yes. Then I saw the blue lights. That's how I knew the video was very thin. I know how it sounds, but there's more to it, you know. You have to do this properly, else you'll get into trouble, yeah, symptoms are bad. That's how it goes, man, that's how it goes. Once it's on, you can't stop it. That's how it goes. Oh no, it's the house again. Can you fix that? Will it find you? Well, here's the trick. Join the happy getaway. Book tickets say so Devin never finds you. The tomato soup is finally reducing. I got a bunch of achievements. It's fun I got all these, but there's this one here. Essay copy 1. It's a stupid tax and I can't see how it helps because I try to just type something. I'm dumb. They are. Monsters are back to eat me. 10 monsters are back to eat me. Their eyes scratch and scratch until they get to the core. Hate their tiny fingers and how they smell of chewing gum and bruises. Don't like to rip my heart away. To see if it has insect licks that could pluck out. But I hide it well. And the tickets of letters. And I build ladders to get where they would never find me. And a seal in the back of my head. I am free. Okay. Too many video. I am gonna do something just really quick though.
Selene.
Okay, I guess that'll be all for this series. I was trying to see if I could look at the achievements and see if maybe there's an achievement that pertains to an ending I don't have. But I couldn't find anything. There's 2 achievements I didn't get, but one was for like a TV program in the journal, which I maybe it glitched out. I don't know. But um, yeah, those are the two two achievements I didn't get. But I should have all the endings. Um, apparently there was one in it that also corresponds to if you restart the game or not, which I think I remember seeing that because I went back and started the game and then it slightly changed the dialogue, which is really weird. The one where it said like le Huan or something, which it didn't give me the option to refuse, which it did before. So anyway, I guess that would be all. Um, I will, I guess, see you guys and girls in the next video. You guys have a good one and bye bye.